The Mets manager was telling us about that lineup. He goes, there's nothing you can do with them. They swing as hard as any team I've ever seen, and yet they don't strike out. He just couldn't say enough great things about the Dodger lineup.
When you got Max Muncy down there in the 6 hole, I mean, this is just as deep as it gets. When you're catching, trying to navigate through these types of lines, you're trying to get somebody that can't hit the ball out of the ballpark, maybe a soft single somewhere. They don't have that in that line. I mean, Russell Martin down there in the 7 hole, they are extremely deep, and this team can hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Want to bring back Buster Olney now. Buster, we talked about the Cubs and the addition of bullpen help for them. We saw a hiccup last night, Kenley Jansen giving up the 2-run homer that turned out to be the game winner. What's L.A. thinking here as the deadline approaches?
When you look at their team, they have arguably the best rotation in the National League. They have one of the best 2 or 3 offenses in the National League. Defensive efficiency, #1 in all of baseball, but that bullpen has been a problem. Talking with executives with other teams, they think the Dodgers are going to be in big on bullpen help. Maybe a couple of pieces, like we saw with the Cubs in 2016, chasing Aroldis Chapman, like the Indians that year, going and getting Andrew Miller. Might see the Dodgers go after Brad Hand of the Cleveland Indians, maybe a Sean Doolittle of the Nationals if they decide to sell. The expectation is this is going to be the focus for the Dodgers as we get closer to July 31st.
All right, Buster Olney from Dodger Stadium tonight. Buster, enjoy the game tonight. We will be watching. David Ross, Tim Kurkjian, you just heard Buster talk about the fact that, look, this rotation is fabulous. They're in really good shape right there. What about bullpen help? What else might L.A. need?
Yeah, I think the bullpen's everything. They've got the depth. They've got some bench players. They've got guys in the minor leagues that have come up and filled some roles when guys are hurt. I think it's all about the bullpen. Walker Buehler's fine. Ryu, who I think is one of the best in the game. They've got the starting pitching as well. Kershaw, we know. It's all about bullpen for me.
Right, that and a healthy Corey Seager. This team is loaded, and they're angry about losing 2 years in a row in the World Series.
Indeed. Loaded lineup, loaded rotation, bullpen again, maybe the only area of concern for the Dodgers, something that the guys will address throughout the broadcast tonight. Cubs-Dodgers from Dodger Stadium coming your way. For Tim Kurkjian and David Ross, I'm Kevin Connors. Thanks for watching. Now out to Chavez Ravine, Matt Vasgersian.
And Kevin, on a beautiful Father's Day for baseball or anything outdoors, as a matter of fact, Chavez Ravine Dodger Stadium has never looked better. Home of the Dodgers since 1962, and we welcome you to it. It's the Cubs and the Dodgers on Sunday Night Baseball. This telecast is presented by Taco Bell and ESPN. Hey, the Brewers are in action with the Giants as we speak, and they've got a lead. This is a current look at the standings in both the NL Central and the West. The Cubs, though they've lost 4 of 6 on a road trip, still have a share of that top spot. And the Dodgers runaway train has a 9.5 game lead on their next closest pursuer, the Colorado Rockies, who are in action as we speak at home. With that, we welcome you inside the broadcast booths with Alex Rodriguez, Jessica Mendoza, and Buster Olney, Matt Vasgersian. Happy Father's Day to everybody watching at home.
And you
Set
too.
for a good one. Yeah, and us too.
Thank you,
We'll
you
take
too,
a little
baby.
bow here. You get flowers on Mother's Day. We'll take a bow on Father's
I brought you guys
Day.
some food.
We'll take an apple.
Hey, we've got a good game to watch today, too. And for the Dodgers, center to their 6 straight division titles has been great pitching. We'll get a chance here today to watch not only their best, but maybe the best in baseball right now.
He is the best in baseball right now. Hyun-Jin Ryu, when you look at his stuff, what he's able to do, the things that stand out to me the most is the unpredictability. Guys, he's got 5 pitches. He can throw any count, any location, and then there's the command. Watch Russell Martin tonight. Watch the pinpoint location. There's a reason why he has the strikeout to walk ratio that he has. And then, guys, he's healthy. He's been good for a long time, but he's only had 100 innings pitched. The last 3 seasons, only one time. He's had more innings pitched this year than he's had all of last season. Seeing him healthy is what makes him the best right now.
A left-handed theme on the mound tonight with Ryu for the Dodgers, Jose Quintana for the Cubs, and Alex, a left-handed theme on the other side of the scorecard despite the matchup, because each side features a left-handed bat that's an MVP candidate this year.
Man, I had an opportunity to spend about 30 minutes with Cody Bellinger, and this guy has been unbelievable. It's been a season of adjustments. He's in it with speed, with great power, and gold glove defense. But what's been really impressive is the way he's put the whole thing together. Strikeouts are down, power is up. And on the other side, you have the platinum defender in Anthony Rizzo, who hit a big-time game-winning home run here on a 2-0 fastball of Kenley Jansen. And he is underrated and for sure underappreciated by most around baseball. Anthony Rizzo is a dandy.
Anthony Rizzo's homer yesterday made a loser of the Dodgers and really saved a series. And as we talked about with Joe Maddon before the game today, it was bigger than it felt at the time, what it represented. Without that homer yesterday, it's 3 straight losses in this series and only 1 win on the road trip. Rizzo at the center of the Cubs' success as per usual. And as per usual, when the Cubs and Dodgers get on the field together, there is plenty of star power. We're back with the starting lineups and the opening pitch from Dodger Stadium right after this. ESPN's telecast of Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moz, and in part by T-Mobile. Whether you're home or away, T-Mobile has you covered. Father's Day here in Los Angeles and being celebrated throughout Major League Baseball with shades not of Dodger blue but of light blue. There are a lot of father-son combinations in Major League Baseball these days. In fact, 23 current major leaguers have fathers who played in the big leagues, and both managers with fond memories of dad. We'll get into a little bit later on tonight with Buster Olney on the field, speaking with both Dave Roberts and Joe Maddon about the significance of Father's Day for them. And in terms of the task at hand, each trying to win a big league ball game today with postseason aspirations. Let's get you right to Joe Maddon's Taco Bell starting lineup. Here's how the Cubs align against Hyun-Jin Ryu in this series finale here this afternoon. Javi Baez will lead things off for the first time this season at shortstop. Bryant, Rizzo, and Contreras 2 through 4. David Bote bats fifth at third base. Albert Almora Jr. in center field batting number 6. Jason Hayward, Jose Quintana the pitcher bats 8. And Addison Russell round things out. Tall order tonight against Major League Baseball's ERA leader And a guy whose 9 victories paces the National League, 32-year-old left-hander Hyun-Jin Ryu.
And possibly the National League starter in the All-Star game next month. He's got 5 pitches, fastball, cutter, changeup, sinker, and a breaking ball. He holds runners on well. He can strike you out. He puts the ball in the ground. Simply put, he is a handful. And with today, at some point, the shadow is going to be a problem for the hitters. If you get them early.
Beautiful 75-degree afternoon here in Los Angeles as he's quickly on top of Baez 0-2. And Alex, you talk about the repertoire. He has 5 pitches that he throws at least 10% of the time. One of just a small number of pitchers in the big leagues that use as many pitches as frequently as Ryu does. And he makes very quick work of Javi Baez to start the game.
And Matty, something to watch is the changeup and his best pitch, his money pitch. And this is something, Jess, he'll do this over and over again, back-to-back changeups like he did against Baez. If you're a right-handed hitter at some point, maybe you sit on one and try to do some damage. Changeup and a good one.
So 1 gone for Ryu. That'll bring up Chris Bryant. He picks on the first pitch and bounces it out to third. Justin Turner there this afternoon, and there are 2 quick outs in the first. So we're going to talk plenty about Hyun-Jin Ryu today because he has been such an amazing story. The numbers will blow you away, and we'll get into it as we progress today. But here's one just to think about. Since earned runs became an official category in 1912, the only other Dodger pitchers with an ERA below 1.5 in their first 13 starts are named Drysdale and Koufax.
Wow.
2 gone now for Anthony Rizzo.
Well, it's crazy to think because Ryu has been good over the last 3-4 seasons. He just hasn't been healthy. So even living here in LA, it's a name that you don't hear a lot. Of course, there's the Clayton Kershaws, the Rich Hills, even Kenta Maeda that's gotten a lot of attention. But for Hyun-Jin Ryu, he's actually earned the fact that he is this pitcher. Even coming from South Korea when he pitched in the World Baseball Classic, but he hasn't consistently been out there on the field to show everybody, hey, I'm here and I can deal.
Anthony Rizzo fights him off for a base hit. 2-out single in the Cubs half of the first.
And Anthony Rizzo, I mean, you see him with a 2-0 fastball home run swing last night to win the game, and now he takes a fastball in, bearing in on his hand, and he stays inside the ball. You call that fighting the ball away from you, and it's a beautiful thing.
Well, I mean, really 21% of the balls are going to the left side of the bag, and you kind of beat those odds by doing it right there.
So a 2-out base runner aboard now in front of Wilson Contreras.
And Matty, going back to the Rio, I mean, if you're Dodger Nation, they're looking for their '88 version of who's going to be Orel Hershiser in this staff, which is a great staff, or the 1981 version of Fernando Valenzuela. The Dodgers will win once that number 1 stands up and takes control of the staff.
Back-to-back 2-out singles in the Cubs half of the first as Rizzo advances to the next station.
Here's a 1-0 changeup. Not his best one. This one he throws for a strike. It just lays out over the middle of the plate. Does not do much. Nice swing. Compact. Not trying to do too much. Cubs are set up.
But I mean, this is what Ryu wants. He wants a weak hit ground ball, and this is where positioning I think can get frustrating because Chris Taylor, I mean, if he's playing straight up, that's a routine ground ball, which is what Ryu gets a ton of.
So here's David Bodie now trying to do something about that stat. Hyun-Jin Ryu has been absolutely as tough as they get with runners in scoring position. And we talked about how he's off to a historic start. Some of these numbers, if the trends hold, we've never seen anything like this. And there's a ground ball playable for Taylor. He'll go the long way and nothing comes of the 2-out singles. A half inning gone, underway in Los Angeles. Shadows will play a factor later on today at Dodger Stadium. So far, just a beautiful sun-splashed afternoon for baseball as we take a look at the Dodgers Taco Bell starting lineup today. Kike Hernandez up at the top, just 1 for 8 in the series. Justin Turner, David Freese will follow. Cody Bellinger batting number 4. Off to such a historic start and 4 for 9 with a couple homers in this series. Taylor Muncy and Martin. Kyle Garlick, the rookie left fielder, gets a start in left, and Hyun-Jin Ryu round things out for the Dodgers, who have been awfully tough at home. A big assignment for Jose Quintana, the 30-year-old veteran left-hander in his 8th major league season. Could use a victory. He is without one over his last 7 starting assignments.
When it really comes down to his secondary pitches, his fastball's got great arm side command with it, but when he can throw the changeup and curveball off of that fastball with consistency, that's when you see the good numbers. He has struggled with that his last 6 starts.
Kike Hernandez leads things off for the Dodgers in the bottom half of the first, and with the first swing, a drive out to left field. Bryant on the move. It's carrying him all the way to the track for the first out. Cody Bellinger wearing a microphone for us tonight, and earlier we captured his pregame ceremony.
What's up, dude? What's your name?
I'm Cody.
Your name's Cody too? Nice to meet you. Hey, enjoy the game, all right? I like your shades. How you doing?
It's a very West Coast exchange, wasn't it?
What's up, dude?
What's your name, brah?
Same name as you.
By the way, they're almost the same age. Must be good to be Cody Bellinger.
1 gone for Justin Turner. Turner, a true Southern California native. 2 for 11 so far in this series with a home run. We mentioned how good the Dodgers have been at home, and it's been a different kind of home dominance for LA this year. This ballpark had a well-deserved reputation as being a pitcher's haven for such a long time. And though I think a lot of people still believe that to be true, some of the numbers the Dodgers have posted at home on the offensive side of the scorecard have started to chip away at that reputation. They're scoring 5+ runs per game in their home ballpark, and it's fueled a terrific home record so far this year. Turner with a chopper out to shortstop for Javi Baez, and there are 2 away.
You know, Matty, when it comes to hitting in this ballpark, and I've hit here quite a bit, when it's daytime is one of the best hitters parks in baseball. At nighttime, it becomes a pitcher's ballpark. Now, give the Dodgers ownership a lot of credit. They spent several $100 million putting back into these clubhouses, batting cage, weight rooms, video room. I talked to Bellinger today. He says he spends a lot, hours and hours of time in their weight room and in their video room. So a lot of that assists Dodger ownership.
Here's David Freese. Well, it's pretty amazing because the architectural integrity, if you will, of this place, built in the late 50s and opened in 1962, is still every bit the way it was back in the day. But they've been able to modernize the place, to your point, Alex, to where it is really still one of the crown jewels of the game. So Freese is aboard for the man who I think we would all agree is at least point the front runner, if not one of the front runners in the National League MVP conversation. Cody Bellinger digging in at .355, 22 homers and 57 RBIs. And if you're not a fan of the quote-unquote traditional numbers, then we've got more for you there too. Quintana starts him with a strike.
The shift numbers for Cody Bellinger, very extreme. You see the red zone, 36% right to second base, the 29% down the line. That's why he gets the dramatic shift. He pulls the ball often and well. Hits the ball very hard to the right side, and that's why he, even with Quintana knowing he's going to get some away, he's crowding the plate. I mean, his toes are almost on the line, and this is to make every pitch a pullable pitch.
Two balls and a strike to count to Cody Bellinger.
You know, Jazz, he told me he went home this season and wanted to get back to what he did in 2017, almost threw 2018 away like a wash, and really wanted to see the things he did well in 17 and build on those, and then take the things he didn't do so well in 18. He talked a lot about his feet. He talked about a lot of his alignment, and he wanted more consistency, where last year he was all over the place.
Well, having different swings for different pitchers, different counts, and not that you have to change your whole body, but just even right now having an approach against a pitcher, you're watching film, you talked about all the access the Dodgers now have to be able to watch stuff. He knows where Quintana wants to throw him, and he's putting his body in the best position to pull the ball hard.
And there's ball four to Bellinger. Buster, to continue the Bellinger conversation, the mindset that Alex just talked about has manifested for Cody in a really amazing set of walk and strikeout numbers.
Yeah, it really is incredible when you think of him being someone who last year about 150 strikeouts, and he now has basically a 1-to-1 walk to strikeout ratio. And we've seen guys like George Springer, Mike Trout have dramatic reduction the way that Cody Bellinger has. When I asked Cody about it yesterday, he said, you know, really it comes down to me knowing my swing better, having a better feel for it, and then going through the at-bats and being more effective.
Runners at first and second with two gone now for the shortstop Chris Taylor, who's got a couple of hits in this series.
Oh no.
Top of the first started out the same way with a couple of quick outs, and then Ryu negating the threat by retiring the number 5 hitter.
And if you're Quintana, you have to understand who you're facing. The National League ERA leader, in a run or two right now could feel like a blowout.
The Dodgers were hopeful that that 1-0 lead was going to hold up yesterday. It went away in the 9th inning home run, the 2-run shot by Anthony Rizzo. Really kind of turned the tenor of the series, because without that heroic swing, the Cubs are looking a sweep dead in the face here.
Indeed, Matty. Not only what it does is the residual effect that it does for the mentality of the Cubs, knowing that they can come into this incredibly hard place to win a game, take a 2-0 fastball, game-winning home run of Jensen. They know they can do it again in October.
2 balls and no strikes, the count to Chris Taylor. Well, this has been the NLCS matchup in 2 of the last 3. Cubs beating the Dodgers in 2016 en route to a World Series title. Dodgers beating the Cubs in 2017 en route to an eventual World Series loss to Houston.
And if you're Quintana, be careful here on this pitch, 3-0. He's got the green light, and this game can be 3-0 very quickly.
The 3-0 home. And Taylor takes ball 4.
So, Alex, I'm going to follow up on what you just said about the idea of Quintana pitching against Ryu with a 1.36 ERA. Through the years when I've asked pitchers in this type of situation, hey, do you feel extra pressure pitching against a guy that good? And they've always said, no, I don't pitch against him. I pitch against the opposing lineup. So you're telling me they were lying to me all those years?
That's a lie, yes, for sure. And if you want to get the real truth, wait till a player's retired and then they're going to be more vulnerable. But while they're playing, they're never going to be that truthful.
I think that should be a theme for Buster's next podcast. The big book of lies. Go through all the lies players have told you over the years, Buster. That's the latest entry.
I like it. That's a really interesting. That's a great title right there.
Send the check to New Jersey.
And I've had interviews where I've asked players things, and then they on the record ends, and they look at me and say, "Well, I just lied to you, right?"
Well, let's see what Max Muncy can do with this bases loaded situation now. A single and then a pair of walks has set up Muncy, who's 3 for 10 in the series with a homer. One of the 4 he's hit in his last 6 games. Interesting start to this one, in that for Jose Quintana, a starter for whom walks had been a problem in his career, last couple of years not an exception. This year, he's pitched to much more contact than before. Yet he has been a little strike averse to start this game, and he's got to wiggle off a bases loaded jam.
And the reason for that, Matt, is the changeup. The changeup has been the neutralizer, throwing it more often and much better.
10 straight balls now, though, for Quintana. He's having a hard time. We've seen all 3 of his pitches, none of them strikes. Look at where Contreras is set up, low and away, and misses high. My fear isn't so much the walk, but really the miss that's going to get hit.
There's a dream hitter's delight here. You have bases loaded. He's thrown 10 balls in a row. You absolutely have the luxury to put the ball on a tee, and if it's there, whack away. Last home run he hit was right here against Bumgarner, another left-hander.
He's got Freese, Bellinger, and Taylor aboard. The 2-0 pitch. 2-1. And Bellinger had his bat on the shoulder the entire way. He's going to earn the strike zone. And just barely at that. Already 20 pitches for Quintana in this opening inning. That one misses by plenty. It's 3-1.
I think right now is, being a 3-pitch pitcher, usually you have one that I can go to this 3-1 bases loaded and I will get a strike. We haven't seen that pitch. The curveball has been bounced, the fastball's been outside the zone, and the changeup.
The 3-1 pitch, and he walks in a run. A single and then 3 straight 2-out walks, and it's 1-0 Los Angeles. Not the start Joe Maddon envisioned today.
When I asked Joe Maddon what's been the difference with Quintana on the road, and guys have home road splits. Sometimes you pay attention, sometimes you don't, but it's been a clear difference for Quintana, and he said it's really for him about getting ahead, because when he doesn't, he starts to press, he starts to rush, and then he cannot throw strikes. And that's what we're seeing. It's this consistent, throwing 10 straight balls in a row, finding barely a strike, getting his curveball right there in for a strike. But because of that, it's been a lot of inconsistency, and then it pushes him more.
0-1 the count to Russell Martin. Well, to your point, and Joe Maddon went on to tell us before the game, he likes Jose Quintana when he's pitching, when it's changeups, when it's curveballs. He's had a hard time just locating his sinker today. And Martin behind 1-2 now.
As a catcher, something you want to watch always, you never want to see a pitcher throw 8 out of 10 balls, 9 balls in a row. You want to go to your secondary pitches, your breaking ball, your changeups. Change the slot, change the angle, change the energy, And that's exactly what Contreras has done right here behind the plate. Very nice.
2 balls and 2 strikes the count to the veteran catcher Russell Martin. Well, he's tried a little bit of everything in this plate appearance. Started Martin with a curveball, then threw him a changeup, got in front with a 4-seamer, missed with that curveball. And all this against a guy who's never been able to figure him out over the years. As you can see, Quintana has held Martin to an 0 for 9. Missed inside again.
And see, now you have 3-2. Everybody's running. An excellent 92-mile-an-hour fastball. He didn't get the call. Now the automatic pitch has to be the 3-2 changeup, and you should get a strikeout or a weak soft contact. Set up beautifully.
Trailing runners go as Martin fouls it away.
And again, if I'm sitting in the Cubs dugout right now, I say get in the stretch. If you see the jump that Max Muncy's running on a simple base hit, it can be 4-0. Watch this running start. And there he is. Nice adjustment.
Javi Baez got his attention at shortstop. So Quintana stepped off for a moment. Back to work now on Martin. And he strikes him out. Could have been a whole lot worse for Jose Quintana. He does yield a run to the second. 1-0 Los Angeles.
Kevin Connors in studio. Time now for tonight's Coast to Coast Connection, brought to you by T-Mobile. The Braves pounded the Phillies today 15-1. Josh Donaldson homered in his 3rd straight game. Atlanta out-hit the Phils 19-6. Gabe Kapler said post-game there's a lot of work to do, a lot of discussions to have. Meantime, Paul DeJong continues to kill the Mets. This home run in the 8th inning turned out to be the difference. He's hitting .361 with 9 home runs in 20 career games against the Mets. 4-3, Cardinals win. Back to L.A. Happy Father's Day once again. Matt Vasgersian.
Yeah, Kevin, thanks. And off to a good start today is Hyun-Jin Ryu in terms of his performance, and a run in support of it. 1-0 Dodgers, the score early on here as Albert Almora Jr. leads things off in the second. Almora, Hayward, and Quintana. But the NL East is a wacky place these days. And I don't know that there's a bullpen in that division that seems to have things under lock and key.
Well, coming into the season. I mean, that was my pick for the hardest division just because of everyone that each team went and got. Basically everyone but the Braves, but the Phillies, the Mets, the Nationals, the big names that were added to those rosters. I thought these guys are going to just fight it out, beat everyone up, but it hasn't been the case. The best division has been the Central.
0-2 the count to Albert Almora. Well, the race for the premium bullpen pieces that may or may not be available over the next couple of months is going to be a continuing story in baseball. I know Buster's written about it on ESPN.com. And the Cubs strike first in the Kimbrel signing. Still 1-2 on Almora.
Yeah, Matt, and the Dodgers will be right at the forefront of that because when you look at this team, arguably the best rotation in the National League, one of the best offenses in baseball, the best, most efficient defense so far, but their bullpen has been a problem. And you can bet that they're looking at this team fully capable of taking that last step, winning the World Series, but they got to improve the bullpen.
Almora bounces it up the middle. Taylor with a good play to his left to get it. Monday Night Baseball on ESPN. These same Dodgers against the rival San Francisco Giants at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. Tyler Beede, the 26-year-old rookie, faces the Dodgers for the first time in his career. He draws Kenta Maeda tomorrow night. Wednesday Night Baseball, Giants and Dodgers, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. Drew Pomerantz and Rich Hill for that one. And then Jess Buster, Alex, and I, 1 week from tonight, will be in St. Louis for Albert Pujols' return to Busch Stadium. Hard to believe, as long as Albert's been an Angel, that he has not come back to St. Louis as a visitor. It'll be the first time on this weekend.
He does go back, Matty, to live there in Kansas City and St. Louis. He has a lot of ties back there, a lot of good deeds he does with his foundation.
Jason Hayward with an opposite field bolt that's run down by the rookie Kyle Garlick. Not an easy chance.
Kyle Garlick getting a rare start in this Dodgers uniform. Does a great job with his jump and then just knowing that the wall is impending. A lot of guys you'll see pull up, kind of feeling the warning track on their feet, but he does a good job of still being able to reach, understanding jump. He's still got about 3 more steps left.
Garlick getting a start this afternoon as Dave Roberts tried to be as right-handed as he could be against Jose Quintana. And with 2 gone now, it is Quintana batting with the bases empty. Not known as a big hitting pitcher. 1 for 26 this year. He's got 7 hits for his career.
You know, the fear for any left-handed pitcher hitting righty is the exposure to that left elbow. You see he's wearing a pad right there.
Second strikeout of the game for Ryu. Couple of well-hit balls, but a 1-2-3 top of the second. Welcome back to Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. This telecast is presented by Taco Bell. Hey, coming up tomorrow night on ESPN and on the ESPN app, we'll have our annual College World Series Major League Baseball doubleheader. It starts in Omaha, 7 Eastern, 6 Central, with Michigan and Florida State. Then it's out to L.A. for Cody Bellinger and these Dodgers playing host to the rival Giants. And speaking of the College World Series, there is plenty of representation on the field in the big leagues today. Chris Taylor as a Virginia Cavalier in 2011. Walker Buehler's Vanderbilt days were so recent we can remember them. Schwarber in 2013, and Justin Turner went to it 3 times with Cal State Fullerton. And I am yet to talk to one of those guys that didn't have nothing but great things to say about that experience.
Oh, yeah. I remember seeing those guys. That's where I first met Kyle Schwarber in 13 in Omaha. Walker Buehler when he won it all with Vandy. And, man, was he cocky then. To see these young guys and the confidence they have and then how they translate that into the big leagues is pretty cool.
Jose Quintana back to work. He survived 3 walks and a base hit to the tune of allowing only 1 run in the first. And here in the second, he gets Kyle Garlick, then Hyun-Jin Ryu, and Kike Hernandez. Kyle Garlick's been up and down from the minor leagues a couple of times this year. Dave Roberts described him to us as an organizational guy who has earned a look at the big league level.
28th round pick.
28th round pick to survive and get all the way to the Grande Ligas.
And that's what's just crazy, because I feel like with the Dodgers, there's always that next guy that comes up. Matt Beatty being one of the guys that was very under the radar. I mean, he wasn't a top round pick similar to Garlick, and you know he's been on fire the last few weeks when he comes in and gets his starts.
And Robert says this is a guy that you want to cheer for. He's a good guy. He's a good defender. He runs well. We saw the nice play on the top half of that inning. And it's really, really nice to see guys like him come up and get an opportunity to play.
Well, you know, we've talked about this before, where the Dodgers, despite their payroll flexibility and the fact that they enjoy big market financial privileges, in order to make it work, you've got to find a few guys on the cheap who outperform your expectations for them.
Max Muncy, Chris Taylor, who is now their starting shortstop and broke out in a huge way 2 years ago. And it's what I mean. They just keep coming. And it's one thing when you have the top draft picks, you get, you know, your Cody Bellingers, your Jock Petersons, the expectation is there. I mean, Alex Verdugo, I mean, that's what you expect. But the Dodgers have done an excellent job also with the Matt Beattys, with going and getting a guy like Max Muncy. Chris Taylor reorganizing his swing, figuring out how he can be even more versatile.
Yeah, and then the draft, right? You have Bellinger, you have Seager, you have a lot of young players that they've developed. And it's a combination, Matty, of everything. Oh, boy, look at this.
Chopped up the line on a tough play for Rizzo. He gets it to Quintana in time for the out. You could give Hyun-Jin Ryu a bucket of balls and a BP pitcher until dusk, and he wouldn't be able to do that again.
Just the swing alone. I mean, his back foot, I think, comes off the ground and almost...
It's a beautiful thing. Swung to left, hit to right. Oh, baby.
That was his front foot. He like vacated the whole front half of his body.
Now you want to see like 20 guys in a dugout laughing and having a great time. All you got to do is have a pitcher take a swing like that, and the guys absolutely love it.
Watch him get out of there. Get out of there with his front foot.
And the guys will give him a hard time. You know, depending on the personality of the pitcher, but that's pretty cool.
Top of the order, Kike Hernandez now with 2 out and the bases empty.
So, guys, he's got a reputation, Ryu does, of filling the grandstands in batting practice with home runs. And I asked him about that yesterday because he doesn't have one in the big leagues yet. He goes, yeah, it's a lot different hitting in batting practice.
Well, he has always been said to be, among teammates, one of the more popular players. And that comes from a guy for whom there's a little bit of a language barrier. He speaks baseball English, as many foreign-born players do. And also considering that he missed the better part of 2 years recovering from shoulder surgery, a lot of guys lose their feel for the clubhouse during that time, and they have a hard time snapping towels and being one of the guys, quote unquote, when they don't feel like they're contributing. Apparently that was never the case for Ryu.
Well, and you can tell. I mean, the way that he interacts, and I mean, Buster was around him yesterday, especially in and around the clubhouse, but this is a guy, I remember even when he was injured, he had such a presence, mostly making guys laugh, keeping them loose, even when he's not on the field contributing.
3-1 pitch to Kike is hit high and deep and hooking foul. Missed it by that much.
And you know, when you think about his teammates, they marvel more about the process even than the results. And the results have been absolutely incredible. When you think about the way he goes about it, he doesn't throw off the mound. He doesn't long toss in between starts. He doesn't run. He does the sauna. But he told Buster, not for 30 minutes. He made sure to tell Buster, Buster, I only do it for 10 minutes. Is that right, Buster?
He wanted to clear up the record because the story came out the other day, quoting his teammates as saying 30 minutes, and he was laughing at that. Said, no, 10 minutes. Yes, he really feels like it's a good treatment, but he basically acknowledged if he sat in 115 degrees for 30 minutes, he would melt.
Still a full count to Kike Hernandez. Quintana trying for a 1-2-3 inning. And he's not going to have it as Hernandez is aboard on a base hit. Well, Hyun-Jin Ryu spent 7 seasons in Korea where he was Rookie of the Year and an MVP in his first season. 2008, won a gold medal in the Olympics and was a runner-up in the World Baseball Classic. 14 wins in his first 2 big league seasons, and then the injury bug settled in. Made only 1 start over a 2-year period, recovering from shoulder surgery. Groin problems slowed him down. Last year he was great, albeit in limited duty. And this year off to the best start of his career.
You know, Matty, when you think about routines, pitchers, they're all over the map. I mean, I played with guys like Roger Clemens and Andy Pettitte. It was like a track meet. They lifted weights. They ran every day. And then when you look at a guy like Mike Mussina and Randy Johnson, they never ran, especially late in their careers, because of their knees and their hips. They wanted to make sure they had a different routine. Now, those 2 guys are going to the Hall of Fame, and it's interesting how players really watch others. And this routine he really is an anomaly in every way.
Oh, 1-1 the count to Justin Turner. Well, to your point, Alex, this is a start day for Hyun-Jin Ryu. He's starting today. This was earlier this afternoon, right?
That's great.
Looks like a Father's Day picnic coming up.
The only thing he's missing is the lemonade and the novel.
Oh, it's awesome. I'll tell you cannot argue against the amazing results. And again, Dodger Nation desperately looking for that 1988 Oral Hershiser, a guy that can step up 1-4-7 and bring home that 3rd championship. Yeah, 3rd since 1981, 81, 88. And hopefully for them this year.
Turner with the ball out to center field. It's got some run to it. Almora setting up for the catch, however, to retire the side. 1 left stranded. We played 2 complete. 1-0 Los Angeles. Clayton Kershaw among the Dodger dads enjoying Father's Day at home today. Next goes to work on Tuesday, but dad is always at work when a son or a daughter is at the ballpark. This is back at the end of May. Clayton and his 2-year-old son Charlie playing a little catch and flip in Pittsburgh.
Spent some time with Clayton in his home in Dallas in the offseason. Charlie was on his back as he was lifting weights, and I mean, being a dad has changed him in a huge way, and it's pretty cool to see.
How so?
He said this. He's like, I would never have allowed anybody in here when I'm working out. I'm serious. You talk about routine. Clayton Kershaw is at the top of the list with serious routine. And he's like, the fact that I'm in here, and it's like, I built a home gym once I had kids because I wanted them in here with him. Charlie had the basketball and was trying to shoot it off of his head. Clayton's trying to move weights, and he was just having fun with it. And it's a different sight to see with Clayton, that softer side that, I mean, Alex, Matt, you guys know this. Kids bring it out. They don't care if you win or lose. They don't know.
It's interesting, though, because, you know, building the home gym is an excuse for most of us just to kind of let it go. Right? I want to be home with the kids more often. Meanwhile, that's it. That's the end of it.
Oh.
Buy some pants with drawstrings, a seat for the shower, and get it into shutdown mode.
Quote, home gym.
Yeah, right. Addison Russell into the opposite field and just fouling right. Well, it's a reminder whenever you watch Major League Baseball on this day of the league's efforts to add awareness and fundraising to fight prostate cancer. Same thing that happens on Mother's Day in breast cancer awareness around the league. So you'll see shades of light blue everywhere around the league today. It's something that's been going on in baseball for the better part of 20+ years. And Russell succumbs. 3 strikeouts for Ryu. From a well-pitched game to a pitching optional afternoon in Denver, Kevin Connors.
Yeah, Matt, really a gong show for pitchers all series between the Padres and Rockies. How about a 13-11 game with 2 outs in the 9th inning when Greg Garcia delivers again? A 2-run triple. One of 2 triples for Garcia in the game. He started the day with 2 career triples. That ended Wade Davis's day, tied the game at 13. They bring in John Gray, who's a starter. He intentionally walked the next 2 batters to get to the pitcher, Matt Strahm. He walks 14-13, Matt. Padres win.
Oh, my goodness. 14-13 today. I just did some quick math, Kevin. 92 runs between the Padres and Rockies in that 4-game series in Denver. My goodness.
You almost got to triple digits with your math, Matt.
Almost got there. Almost. It's a slow burn.
It's a fight at the bat rack.
Javi Baez with 1 away here in the 3rd. He struck out to begin the ball game. 3 strikeouts for Ryu so far in this one. That's going to be a tough play for Turner. Bare hand throw is not in time to get him. Reminder, help send your All-Stars to Cleveland with the 2019 Google MLB All-Star ballot. New this year after the first ballot, or the primaries, if you will. The top 3 players at each position advance to a special starters election. Vote now at MLB.com/vote and on Google by searching for your favorite player or MLB Vote. And I would imagine Javi Baez is going to have a lot of representation in that vote. In fact, the initial voting returns were released last week, and there is massive Cubs representation at every position that they have a player, which is all of them. Contreras, Baez, Rizzo. Figure to see all those guys in Cleveland in a month. One out, one on for Chris Bryant. On one hop for Taylor. They get the lead man. Relay back to first is in time to turn the double play. Nifty work by Max Muncy at the second base bag. To the bottom of the 3rd. And this sleight of hand keeps it 1-0 LA. ESPN's telecast of Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell is brought to you by Sol, a bright and refreshing Mexican lager brewed since 1899. Grab a Sol today. Hey, a reminder, watch live baseball or on demand with your favorite supported devices. Celebrate Father's Day with 50% off your subscription. Blackout and other restrictions apply. MLB.tv for details. To the bottom half of the third for David Freese, Cody Bellinger, and Chris Taylor. Dodgers on top 1-0. They got that run on a 2-out bases loaded walk to Mac Muncy in the first. Max credited with an RBI the easy way. David Freese started the little 2-out tempest in a teapot with the base hit.
2-out tempest in a teapot.
A tempest in a teapot. Like something from nothing.
Oh, got it. Okay. I needed it a second time.
Whenever you do that to me, I know I've made a very dated old man reference.
It was good alliteration.
So that'll be the last time you hear it. One gone for Quintana in the third, who sensed the trouble. The bases loaded walk that scored that run. Has retired 6 of the 7 he's faced. Here's Cody Bellinger playing in front of mom and dad. Former big leaguer Clay is here today, as he is many days.
You know, I was talking to Cody today, and he told me a funny story about his father, Clay, who in recent weeks went up to the upper deck, way up there, and took video of him on the on-deck circle doing some kind of interesting swings. And he said on the video, he goes, son, if you do exactly that at the plate, you'll be doing much better. And Cody said, Dad, I'm doing the best I can.
Dads can't stop, right? They're always coaching.
And then I said, Cody, all you have to do was tell him, Dad, have you seen my numbers compared to yours? And he said, I couldn't do that because then he'll say, I have 3 rings and you have none.
Boom.
Well, you know, we had the note earlier that there are 23 current players in the big leagues whose dads also played Major League Baseball. And in some of the cases, you can see dad in the son, right? In Vlad Guerrero, the body type's different, but you see the swing. Cody Bellinger's swing isn't like anything anybody's ever seen. Certainly not like his dad's.
Certainly not, Matty. His dad played 4 years. He had 12 home runs. He hit 193. I mean, that's a good week in home runs for his son Cody.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Bellinger, batting with 1 out, and the base is empty. 1-0 Los Angeles.
And such a humble guy. There's so many things about, you know, Bellinger to like. Obviously, he's playing Gold Glove type defense in right field. He's also probably the fastest runner on this roster.
He wraps that to the right side, and with Quintana covering, there are 2 away. And on this Father's Day, Cody nice enough to wear a microphone for us today.
How you doing? Where do you go after this? Nice. Driving or flying? Night game at 7 tomorrow?
Night game.
Nice.
I don't know what the response to the question was, but it was, where's this crew headed next? And it had to be San Diego, right? Because driving or flying?
Yeah, adding to his resume, traveling secretary for Bellinger. I mean, he can do it all.
Where else would they drive to from Anaheim? Not flying. Would they drive to San Francisco?
But they're coming here.
Right. That's it.
But yeah, you
Oakland?
could drive or fly there. Oakland.
Yeah, he was talking to CB Buckman, the 21 year veteran.
Arizona? No, you're flying to all those places. Why would you drive that?
Arizona might be a nice drive.
It's doable.
It's doable. I just don't.
9 hours?
Yeah, nah.
Well, Cody tells me he can eat pizza all day, and his favorite place to eat is Shake Shack.
Youth.
That's what I said. 23 years old.
Check in with us in 15 years, Cody.
He said, I can eat all the pizza I want, and I still don't gain weight. I said, I hate you. Had a big smile on his face. What an awesome, awesome young man.
Here's the 2-0 pitch home, and Taylor takes a big rip, and a swing and a miss makes it 2-1.
It was a special moment when Clay got to throw to Cody in the home run derby a couple years back. And I remember Clay just talking about how nervous. I mean, you do it a million times, right? Father, son, father, daughter, throwing, mother, daughter, whatever the combination. And literally Clay saying how many times I've thrown, but on this stage, how much pressure he felt.
Jose Quintana keeps on rolling, having survived that rocky first and still trailing 1-0.
Back at Dodger Stadium, Cubs and Dodgers. Joe, so far, Jose Quintana, 1 run allowed. That first inning, loses the plate. What was the adjustment to get him back?
Well, he was just trying to be too fine. That's all. I mean, they're a pretty good hitting ball club, and he gets the first 2 guys out very quickly, and then all of a sudden loses the plate because he's being too fine. A bit more aggressive this last couple innings.
Ryu's been perhaps the best pitcher in baseball so far. What do you guys need to do to break through?
Stay in our zone. Stay in our zone. I mean, his fastball is like 90. His fastball doesn't get there either. You got to be patient. You got to stay more middle-oriented in order to get this guy.
Joe, thanks. Matt, back to you.
All right, Buster, thanks. It's Anthony Rizzo to lead things off in the visitors' half of the fourth. Rizzo, Contreras, and Bodie for Chicago. 1-0 Dodgers. That bases loaded walk holding up through the first 3. Rizzo had one of the 2 2-out singles against Ryu in the first and quickly falls behind 0-2.
And a good sinker there to Rizzo. Very rare for a left-on-left sinker. Not a lot of lefties have that type of pitch, and they can go away with a slider.
Well, especially what left on left is to Anthony Rizzo. I mean, him crowding the plate and to be able to get in the kitchen, get the sink on it, have the confidence to throw it. I mean, that's the thing. Ryu is unfazed by so many different things, but Rizzo's an intimidating batter at the plate because of where he stands in the box, but also the hitter that he is.
Here's the one thing Austin Barnes, one of the Dodgers catcher, told me yesterday, Jess, about Ryu. The great thing about it is whatever approach you want to take, he's got a weapon to do it with. And he has exceptional command with each one of those. So Rizzo presents a different type of challenge here, but Ryu has the stuff to figure out a way to get him out.
Well, the stuff and the control and the demand, right? He has it all, and he has the ability to sink the ball in, cut it away, pitch in the top of the zone, pitch down, ground ball double play. He can also strike you out. There's so many things he can do. He's simply a handful.
3 strikeouts for him today. He has not walked a Cubs batter. It'll stay that way on a ground ball to the right side of the infield. Well, how good has he been in terms of limiting base runners? The lowest on base percentage allowed all time. And Justin Verlander, by the way, is on an even better pace this year than Ryu. But it's a staff mate, Clayton Kershaw, in 2016. Pedro in his legendary 2000 campaign. The only names above him, and look what's underneath. Maddox, Koufax, Marichal. An on-base percentage allowed of 219. Oh, and then there's this. The strikeout to walk ratio, which is en route to shattering the all-time major league record. First pitch to Wilson Contreras is taken for a strike.
Well, and that's what we're seeing opposite of what Joe Madden just told Buster on Jose Quintana, that he was nibbling. He's afraid to make a mistake down the middle. Hyun-Jin Ryu would rather give up a home run than a walk. He has more home runs than walk. We saw the minimal amount of walks. And I'm not saying that's the best stat to have more home runs, but for him, he's like, I'd rather see how far you can hit it than ever give in and give you a free pass.
Jess, when I talked to him yesterday, he said that mindset was reinforced by his father and his youth coaches, where they told him, look, it's better to give up a home run than to actually walk hitter. And I don't know if that's actually true, but if you're a young pitcher and you're learning how to throw strikes, it's certainly something you embrace.
You know, there's a story, Buster, about Hyun-Jin Ryu's father and his feel for the craft of pitching that I think speaks volumes. The very first glove that Hyun-Jin Ryu's father bought for him was a left-hander's glove worn upon your right hand. He's a natural right-hander. There's a bouncer to third. So instead of going back to the sporting goods store and switching gloves, because his dad gave him that one, he learned how to pitch left-handed. Like, this is the glove I got. Thanks, Dad. I'll just use the other hand to throw and the other one to catch.
Smart investment. You always want left-handed pitching.
I love that photo, too.
You know, after his last start, 13 consecutive starts with less than 2 earned runs. I mean, it's really remarkable. And what's even more remarkable is the fact that he's doing it with an average fastball of 90 to 91. In a world where we value pitching with over 95, over 97. And if you're a young pitcher, a high school pitcher, a little league pitcher, my goodness, watch this young man's pitching mechanics, the way he goes about it, because if he can do it, so can you.
And Matt, not even with his dominant hand.
Yeah.
That's a crazy story. I'll just pitch left-handed. Use my dad's glove.
Everybody that's been around him, from his pitching coach Rick Honeycutt on down, has said that his feel for the craft is unparalleled. This is the first 2-0 count that he's been in, by the way. It's been an unusual inning, too. We talked about the great distribution of pitches, the wide variety in the arsenal. He's thrown only 4 seamers and changeups until that curveball he had thrown Bodie. 2-1.
And as a hitter, it's so frustrating what he just did to Bodie there. 2-0, you're in the driver's seat. You feel like I'm looking for a fastball right down the middle. I'm going to go bridge to left center. He pulls the string, 79-mile-an-hour changeup.
But Alex, that's the unpredictability. I mean, you can't get more fastball count than 2-0. And he doesn't throw you.
And another one.
Yeah, you know, the fastball count is kind of vanishing around the league. It's non-existent when Ryu's on the mound.
That's right. In the secondary and tertiary pitches, it's not just 2 or 3 pitches. He has 5 pitches, both sides of the plate. Now he threw a couple fastballs, back-to-back changeups. Now it's 2-2. He can do anything he wants. He can go up top, down south. As a hitter, I'm glad I'm up here and not down there.
2-2 is beaten on the ground to shortstop. Taylor picks it up and finishes off a 1-2-3 inning on behalf of Hyun-Jin Ryu. Father's Day at Dodger Stadium on a beautiful late afternoon here on the West for baseball. And yes, the shadows that we promised that would play in effect are very much evident here as we start the last of the fourth for Max Muncy, Russell Martin, and Kyle Garlick. 1 p.m. Sunday start games at Dodger Stadium usually yield a lot of runs. A little different animal today, kind of in between. And with the change to the start time of Sunday Night Baseball, 7 Eastern, 4 o'clock out here out west, feels a little bit different, but there are the aforementioned shadows. Here they come.
Yeah, and if you're in both dugouts, you're thinking, I have about another inning and a half before it gets really, really difficult. And both these lefties do not need any more help.
It's been a well-pitched game as advertised, with Jose Quintana getting over his first inning control issues. Just a run on 5 hits combined. Two balls and 2 strikes to Muncy, who has the game's lone RBI. Came on a bases loaded walk in the first. A 9.5 game lead is what the Dodgers opened the day with in the NL West. And as good as they've been in each of Dave Roberts' first 3 seasons here, there are a lot of people that feel like this might be the best version of the Dodgers under Roberts, and maybe even going back farther than that.
Yeah, and you have to look at it that way, Matty. I mean, you go back to the teams of the 80s, and you can go back even further than that. But the run that they've had this early in the season, and going over the last couple seasons too, how good they've been, they're even better now. Knowing too, I think what's crazy is how good are they going to be after the trade deadline? Who are they going to go and get, specifically for the bullpen? Because really that's the only glaring weakness right now. And this is a team that's hungry. I mean, they're mad. They don't want to see any more Kirk Gibson around home plate or around the bases, home run trot from 1988. They love the history, they love the past, but there's also that, okay, we need to get over the hump.
I think 2 things to watch if I'm sitting as a Dodgers that are quite concerning is who's the bridge to Kenley Jansen, and how does Corey Seager recover from this hamstring injury? Jansen is not the same Jansen we've had from 16 and 17. He was a guy that can pitch 2 innings, come back again and do it again. Right now he's a guy you can count on for 1 inning in the 9th, especially in October.
1 gone for Russell Martin. Well, one of the differences this year too is that this is the first time under Dave Roberts that the Dodgers have actually been in first place through 71 games, which is hard to believe. And what would a game at Dodger Stadium be without a beach ball timeout?
So true. Now they're like emoji beach balls.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's changed over the years.
I snuck one in when I was 7, putting that out there.
Quickly 0-2 on Russell Martin.
And Matty, you talk about the best record. Talk about how good the Dodgers are doing. It's really important to have that best record going into the postseason. They're almost impossible to beat in this building. Playing great baseball, and to think they're doing all of this, their 7th inning ERA is over 5, giving up 13 home runs. Once they address that, I think they are by far the favorite to win the World Championship.
Ball and 2 strikes to count to Martin.
Some of the names to keep an eye on. I think Brad Hand of the Cleveland Indians, their closer. Indians will listen on him. Maybe Felipe Vasquez of the Pirates, if they decide to listen on him. And everyone is wondering in baseball, will the Nationals market Sean Doolittle?
Well, Buster, I know you've written about it on ESPN.com, the fact that the price of poker seems to be going up for that group of relievers that you mentioned. That's why so many people felt like the Cubs made the right move by going for the 3-year deal that was required to sign Craig Kimbrell.
Just cash, no prospects, because for the teams, if you want to get a Brad Hand or a Vasquez or a Doolittle or maybe Will Smith of the Giants, you are going to have to give up some good members of your farm system.
2-2 to Russell Martin.
And ultimately, it's going to be a battle of front offices. I mean, you saw what Theo Epstein did in 2016 by bringing in Chapman, that solidified the World Championship. And this year, I think the best moves are still ahead.
Swing and a miss makes for 2 out for Jose Quintana, and we check in with Kevin Connors back in the studio.
That Christian Yelich extended his hit streak to 13 straight. This RBI double in the 4th inning gave the Brewers the lead on the Giants, and they would never give it back. He's hitting .472 during his 13-game hit streak. The Brewers take the lead on the Cubs for the moment with the 5-3 win. Of course, the Giants will face the Dodgers on Monday Night Baseball, Matt.
Christian Yelich keeping tabs on Cody Bellinger and vice versa. I don't think anything's changed in terms of those two guys being the 2 top candidates so far for NL MVP.
2-man race right now.
Here's the rookie left fielder Kyle Garlick. That's hit hard and past Bodie into left field. Garlick into second. Well, what we've seen of Kyle Garlick is that he does not get cheated at the plate. He took a big old hack and struck out in the second. That same swing results in a double here in the 4th.
This is a pitch riding in on him. Quintana pretty much hits his spot where you want it. You see it's right there on the corner inside, but watch Garlick. Not only a big swing, but honestly keeping short with his hands to be able to get to this ball. How close to his body he keeps his hands. 92 miles an hour. I mean, he pretty much drew a line to his belly button, keeping his hands to be able to get that. Bodie just missing it.
And red hot in Oklahoma City. 6 for his last 13 with 2 home runs, 2 doubles, 3 home runs this year alone. It was time to give this young man a break.
So Ryu with a chance to help himself out. And at the very least, there's a little traffic on base for Quintana. He had retired 9 of 10 before yielding that 2-out double to Garlick. Two balls and no strikes to Ryu with Hernandez waiting on deck. 2-1. Kike's got one of the 3 Dodger hits in this one. 2-2. And there's that same unorthodox hack that bounced a ball that almost snuck past Rizzo back in the second. His feet are going everywhere here.
Hack attack.
It's almost like he's playing a different game with that swing.
Little cricket, hockey, something.
Line to third. Bodie eats it up to retire the side and leave a runner left stranded. And he's fun to watch on both sides of the scorecard.
We're back at Dodger Stadium. Dodgers lead the Cubs 1-0. Today's Father's Day. You were very close with your father, who you lost a couple of years ago. You were trying to think of ways to stay close to him. How'd you do that?
Yeah, you know, obviously I think about my father every day, as we all do that have lost our fathers. But there was a moment before Game 1 in 2017, about noon, walked out there to the outfield by myself and had his ashes and spread him around where I used to roam center field, and kind of made my way over here and took a moment right here and spread some more right here. So as a manager now, each day I'm at the ballpark, there's a sort of a piece of him with me. So this is, I mean, every day is special, but obviously when you think about Father's Day, you think about coming to the ballpark with your father. So it's a special day.
Dave, thanks. Matt, back to you.
Boy, what a terrific kind of way to remember your father. One that I think a lot of us were surprised to hear about. I don't remember that story getting kicked around during 2017, and Dave thinks about his dad all the time. And Dave, a father himself, enjoying this Father's Day so far. 1-0 Los Angeles as Albert Almora Jr. leads things off for Chicago. Almora, Hayward, and Quintana.
Speaking of fathers, Matt, Dave Roberts' son is in Portland playing a little baseball with wood bats, and told us that in his office today, and he's excited and having a good time. Always right by Dave Roberts all the time in the dugout.
Going to LMU next year. Down the road, of course, so Dad can keep an eye on. Emily!
Yeah, we've seen his son Cole around the ballpark for years. He used to hang around when Dave was playing with the Padres and Dodgers and Giants, and still at Dad's side.
Making lineups.
Yeah, that's a great picture there. That was actually from Cole's high school graduation just a few weeks ago. Guys, that was the first day Dave Roberts missed in professional baseball in 25 years to be at his son's graduation.
It's a leadoff single for Albert Almora Jr. Fourth hit of the ball game for Chicago. You know, you manage long enough, as Dave Roberts is in the midst of doing this as his fourth year, and I think a lot of fans, you just start to remember the guy as manager Dave Roberts, and you forget about the great playing career he had. I think everybody has fallen victim to that, even Joe Torre. I'm sure there were younger Yankee fans when the Yankee dynasties were in the midst of their terrific runs that weren't real familiar with what a great player Joe was. He was just the manager of the Yankees.
Indeed, played with McCarver and Bob Gibson, and best known certainly in New York, not even as a Mets manager, but a Yankee manager. Brought home 4 championships.
Strike to Jason Hayward. It's 1-1.
I think fans in Boston in particular will remember how great Dave Roberts was.
True story.
No need to remember that.
Sorry, Alex. There are not a lot of teams that take liberties on Hyun-Jin Ryu. Dodger coaching staff aware of that. 1 stolen base attempt against him in his last 35 starts. Ryu's in his 7th year in the big leagues. He's allowed 6 total stolen bases in his career.
Matty, this is the kind of guy that when Kevin Long was with us with the Yankees and he would go over scouting reports, when is that good, why even have a meeting? I mean, you leave that meeting depressed. All the numbers favor him and none favor you.
Almora looks like a guy who's thinking about it at first base. It has succeeded in at least getting Ryu's attention. The fact that it's impossible to run against Ryu and that the Cubs simply don't run leads you to believe that this is all a bunch of hooey. Hayward pops it up. And it's out of play.
Usually, Matty, when a guy is that jumpy and has that wide of a lead with a left-handed pitcher on the mound, is usually a one-way lead. He's not going anywhere.
The Cubs have stolen 16 bases this year. For the year, that is the smallest total in Major League Baseball. They're on a pace for their fewest stolen bases since divisional play. Yet still this little cat and mouse game continues.
Matt, if you look at it more, you see all the movement there, you see all that footwork. All that's telling you is that he's going nowhere.
Strikeout for Hayward, and there is one away.
And you want to know what makes Rio so challenging to hit? These 3 pitches will tell you. You have a 2-0 changeup, block. 2-1 changeup, block. And then 92-an-hour cutter in your knuckles. Is that type of predictability that as a hitter just drives you absolutely crazy.
4 hits, 4 strikeouts, no walks, and Quintana laying down the bunt. The sacrifice works, and there's a runner in scoring position with 2 away as we check in once again with Kevin Connors.
Matt, the Red Sox open a big series with the Twins tomorrow night, and they'll do it with a spring in their step. Top 9 down 3-2 to the O's. That's Marco Hernandez. Just his 2nd career home run, 1st of the season. Tied the game at 3 and then top 10. Check out the power of Rafael Devers. 458 feet the other way. Red Sox go on attack on some more, win at 8-6 in 10. Matt?
For their 5th consecutive victory, Kevin, thank you. Yeah, the Red Sox making a late spring, early summer push. A lot of their fans are saying it's about time. Here's Addison Russell with 2 gone.
Well, now hockey's over in Boston. They're putting all their focus into the Red Sox. But they're too good, and they will have a run. There's no question about it.
You had to open up that flesh wound again, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, New York, L.A.
Christian Vasquez, the Red Sox catcher, walked past reporters today after the Red Sox win and said to them aloud, "We're back."
Ball and a strike to count to Addison Russell. One of the many teams circling back to our earlier discussion that might be in the relief pitching market as we get closer to the hard trading deadline this year, by the way. Throws a nice little wrench into it. The fact that the end of July is the firm deadline. No more waiver deals leading into the month of August. And a lot of people think that's going to change the way clubs do business. The 1-2. Look out. Thank you, protective netting. The swing and a miss by Addison Russell. 5 strikeouts for Ryu and a leadoff single that's left stranded. Top of the order in the bottom of the fifth for Los Angeles, Kike Hernandez, Justin Turner, and David Freese to go back to work on Jose Quintana. LA got their run on a bases-loaded 2-out walk in the first, and the scoreboard has been quiet ever since. Quintana has refound the control that evaded him early on today. Pitched around a 2-out double back in the fourth. A ball and no strikes on Kike Hernandez. Big swing and a miss.
Alex, you see the shadows extending across the infield now. From a hitter's perspective, what type of pitcher do you not want to see in these type of conditions?
Rio's the guy that you never want to see in this type of conditions. Quintana as well, but Rio's the guy that you want to stay away from because of the secondary pitches. So many opportunities to spin the ball and change and add and subtract. What you want to see is a flamethrower, gas, because it stays on the same plane and you don't have to worry about spin too much.
2 balls and a strike to Kike Hernandez. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed.
And you'll start seeing a lot more swing and misses on secondary and tertiary pitches. You'll also see some check swings. All that means is the hitters are not picking up the ball really well.
In the air to shallow right for Hayward. And we check in once again with Kevin Connors back in the studio.
Matt, the Indians will have a decision to make at the deadline. They're currently a half game out of the second wild card spot, but imagine the haul they could get for Trevor Bauer, who struck out 8 today, gave up just 4 hits in his first career shutout. It came in his 224th start, 8-0. The Indians bang out 14 hits and beat the Tigers.
Boy, that came at a good time for Bauer and the Tribe, because he had not been, I guess, himself in the last 6 or so starts. Turned it back around today.
Matt, you're exactly right. This is the time of year when small sample size can matter in trade conversations. Teams can get scared off by a few bad outings. So for Bauer to show that today, that's going to raise some eyebrows with other teams.
A May ERA of almost 6 for Trevor Bauer. 1 ball and 1 strike to count to Justin Turner, batting with 1 out and the bases empty on Father's Day here at Dodger Stadium. Turner one hops it to Russell, who had him played perfectly. Addison Russell picking up the baseball after losing a bat in the last half inning. But who was the lucky finder? It hit the net. Jock Peterson took it, and off he went.
Chucks it back.
Taped up Alex Verdugo's hands. Who's it on starter? It's a good thing Alex isn't starting today, because it's going to take a little while to cut that tape off. And I'm sure Addison saw it. And I'm also sure they're friends, because that's not something you do to a guy that you don't know.
It's amazing what kind of humor you have when you're in first place and you have a lead by almost 10 games. It's a fun place to come. Beautiful stadium, 45, 50,000 people every night. It's fun to see the Dodgers having so much fun.
2 gone for David Freese. Yeah, what's not to enjoy? They're home in the midst of a great homestand in first place, off to a historic start, firing on all cylinders. 75 degrees and sunny. Kind of gives the rest of the league baseball envy. Another sharply hit ball to a perfectly positioned infielder. And it's a quick 5th for Jose Quintana.
I'm marking LA.
What's the plan?
Donate to the V Foundation to be entered for the chance to win the ESPY Sweepstakes.
What do we get?
2 tickets to the ESPYs and the opportunity to play in the Apex Legends Pro-Am on a team with 2 big names.
Let's do this.
No purchase or donation necessary to enter. Go to ebay.com/ESPN for official rules.
The ESPYs Sweepstakes, a great chance to win a trip to this year's ESPYs and a chance to play in the Apex Legends Pro-Am event. Go to ebay.com/ESPN to donate for a chance to win. It all benefits the V Foundation for Cancer Research. Hyun-Jin Ryu back to work for the top of the order in the Chicago half of the 6th. Baez, Bryant, and Rizzo. On a sharp hop to third, Turner on a tough chance, throws in the dirt, and Freese can't dig it out.
Breaking ball down here. Baez, good contact, head down. Turner makes a nice play on the front end. Maybe he has another second to gather himself and go right over the top and throw a strike across the infield. Just rushed it just a bit. And Freese could not come up with it. Very tough in-between hop for Freese. E5.
Here's Chris Bryant now with the leadoff hitter aboard for the 2nd straight inning.
There's something to Joe Maddon putting batters that he feels like are struggling, need something to ignite him a little bit. He put Javier Baez, a rare start in that leadoff position. He's had a base hit.
Sounded like Bryant broke his bat. That drops into no man's land, and there are runners at the corners with nobody out.
Like the other All-Star early in the game, Rizzo hitting the ball the other way, getting jammed. Very good hitting here by Bryant. Inside the baseball. Tight, and then great base running here by Baez. An incredible read. Off with the ribs as well. Just no hesitation. That's what makes Baez one of the best and most aggressive runners in the game. The Cubs last year were #1 going first to third over 125 times. Second to the Dodgers in the 90s.
Well, these have been situations where Hyun-Jin Ryu this year has been at his very stingiest. One of the best RBI men in the game, however. Anthony Rizzo lines the first pitch to third. Dodgers had him favoring the right side. So Turner is the lone defender on that side of the diamond, has it hit right at him.
Yeah, taking the same approach, Jess, as he did in his first at bat, inside out. Different result, and JT in a perfect positioning there.
Here are those numbers we remind you of for Hyun-Jin Ryu. Opponents have 2 hits with a runner in scoring position entering the game. And you combine these numbers to how the Cubs have struggled in that capacity. They're 1 for 16 RASP in the series.
Just the OPS alone, .091. The next best is almost 5.
You know, Jess, as a hitter, when you see numbers like 2 for 55 now with men in scoring position, it tells you one thing. The hitter, the pitcher is aggressive, assertive, and always ahead of you. As a hitter, you have to make sure you go up there ready to hit. First pitch, do not let him get on top of you. You get on top of him.
Well, watch Contreras try to get in his head. Taking his time. He did this his last at bat. Ryu had to step off at one point and take a deep breath, which is the first time I've even seen Ryu at all phased.
This is a part of the new hitter profile of Wilson Contreras 2.0.
Watch him take his time. And even he'll get in the box and then get out. He'll ask for, I mean, this is an exaggerated version, even more so, Matt, than we normally see. Just trying to slow Ryu down and get on his own timing.
Hey guys, before Contreras stepped in the box, Max Muncy was out by second base, motioning to the dugout, asking, hey, where do you want me to be positioned? There was actually a conversation in the dugout. In the end, they wind up having him positioned on the shortstop side of second base.
for this.
And it goes right into the hole. The Cubs have tied it on a 16-hopper cue shot off the end of the bat of Wilson Contreras.
Great eyes by Buster to notice that, because Muncy was positioned exactly there. He asks where he should be positioned. He moves up the middle. Look at where he's at, and this is why. The numbers are saying there's a better percentage chance for him to be on the left side of second base than on the right, even though it's pretty close. And look at this. You're right, a 16-hopper that barely even gets to the grass, and it's a base hit and RBI. And it's all about positioning.
StatCast AI powered by AWS, and on that play, Bryant gets all the way to third, and the fire's still hot now for David Bote. Bote's grounded out to shortstop twice tonight.
And again for the Cubs, merry-go-round. Bryant going first to third. Something the Cubs are known for, and this comes from third base coach Brian Butterfield. One of the best instructors, both base runner instructor and infield instructor. Terrific baseball man, Brian Butterfield, also known as Double Nichols. 5'5".
Nothing in one to count to Bote. You know, sometimes we marvel at the exit velocities of Aaron Judge homers and et cetera, et cetera. You want the exit velocity on the Wilson Contreras bouncer?
Please.
58.4 miles an hour. Really knocked the snot out of that one, right? And guess what? It drove in a run.
League average is 88. So that's 30 miles an hour less than the average velocity off any ball, out or hit.
2 balls and a strike to count to David Bote. Into the right field corner. That could be trouble. Bellinger drifting over toward the line to make a great catch, but tagging is Bryant. And the Cubs, in a rather unorthodox manner, have taken a 2-1 lead.
And look at where this pitch is located. Watch Bote just go down and slash at this. Literally just get to contact. He recognizes the entire right side of the infield is vacated. He knows if he can get this ball in the air to Cody Bellinger, he's running off his feet. There's zero chance he has to make a throw at home. And it goes back to Baez taking third to create this rally. Yes, the error, but getting to third base gets him in, scores a run, and that's what just keeps that door continuously open.
Just I love what the Cubs are doing this inning, and they're making an adjustment. They have 4 guys in a row, Bryant, Rizzo, Contreras, and Bote, all forcing the ball the other way, and both guys going first to third, Baez and Bryant. 2-1 Cubs.
0-2 the count to Albert Almora Jr.
Now, so you always talk about this. In a game like today, when you know you got the best pitcher in the National League pitching against you, you're allowed to put yourself kind of in postseason mode. How do we advance runners? How do we cut down swings? In a day that has a lot of strikeouts and home runs, this is more postseason baseball offense for the Cubs.
It's postseason winning baseball, because there's a lot of bad baseball in postseason. But to Matt's point, there's been no strikeouts, no exit velocities. You haven't even hit a ball hard, but you've had great base running, you've had contact, you've pushed the ball the other way like that again.
Another great approach by Albert Almora, who's 2 for 3 today. That's the 3rd hit of the inning.
And for Almora, the exact same pitch with 2 strikes in his previous at bat, going up there and hitting the ball very Paul Molitor-like. I mean, just textbook. 5 Cubs hitters in a row going up there aggressively, trying to make contact and forcing the ball the other way. Great adjustment for Cubs hitters.
A couple of unearned runs have given the Cubs their first lead of the game, and they've got an opportunity for more now with Hayward and runners at second and third. Check that first and second for Chicago. In the 6th inning, going quite differently for Ryu. I mean, how about this for Ryu? Because he works so quickly, because he's so efficient, because he throws so few pitches per inning, that's all contributed into better defense behind him. These are the first unearned runs behind Ryu all year.
Wow. And you know, Matty, Ryu, he's a treat. Guys like him is a treat to play behind because great pace, throw strikes. He barely ever throws a ball. Every pitch has a purpose, so it's rare for the Dodgers defense to betray him. On the other side, you say, wait a minute, he's human, and Justin Turner's human. We have a shot. It gives you a little bit of hope, and boom, 2 runs.
Strikeout to Hayward ends the inning, but the damage done. 2 unearned runs on an error and 3 hits. Cody Bellinger will bat with the Dodgers for the first time today, trailing. Welcome back to Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. This telecast is presented by Taco Bell. Back with Jessica Mendoza, Alex Rodriguez, and Buster Olney. Matt Vasgersian in Los Angeles, and the Dodgers going to work offensively, trailing for the first time in this game, and sending up Cody Bellinger, Buster, who I would imagine garnered a lot of support in this week's poll question.
Yeah, and that poll question is, Matt, who is most likely to win the National League MVP? Javier Baez, Josh Bell, Cody Bellinger, Christian Yelich. The winner, Cody Bellinger at 48%. A lot of Braves fans mad we didn't have Freddie Freeman in there.
Did you tell him we only had place for 4 heads on the graphic?
I say that all the time.
It's all about what we can do.
I would imagine some Pirates fans are home screaming at their TV. Yins are forgetting about Josh Bell because he's having a terrific year.
Well, if they weren't, they are now.
Bellinger leads things off here in the home half of the 6th. A couple of unearned runs for Chicago, giving Jose Quintana his first lead tonight.
Man, is he settled. Rough first inning. Walking in a run. Didn't have a lot of command.
Bellinger with a bolt out to dead center field. Almora looking up, and it's tied. He is impossible to keep quiet for too long.
The location of this pitch, right down the middle. Bellinger takes advantage. Watch just the rubber band effect that he has, that torque that he gets. And on Father's Day, him and his mom reacting. Best seats in the house, Jennifer Bellinger, along with Dad Clay.
You know, spending some time. Oh, bullet.
And another hard hit ball off the bat of Chris Taylor. He's thinking about second. Bryant up and throwing, not in time.
First the home run, 94 miles an hour by Bellinger, and now a breaking ball. First pitch here to Taylor, and he's all over it. Just by him. And the double right out of the box. Running hard and fast. Nice turn and a head first slide.
We give credit to Baez going first to third. Chris Taylor recognizing not only the speed that he's got to be able to take second, but where Chris Bryant was when he fielded this ball. Hit all of his weight going towards the line. It was going to be a really tough throw to be able to get Taylor.
RBI opportunity now for Max Muncy. A couple of very well hit balls off of Jose Quintana have opened the sixth.
Manny, we often say the season is a dress rehearsal for October. And right now, it is an RBI situation, but if you're Muncy, you have to get Taylor over to third base.
Oh, and 2 to Muncy. So the exit velo on those first two batters' plate appearances have certainly gotten the attention of the Cubs. They've got Tim Collins and Brandon Kintzler up. Collins was one of the two left-handers that yielded a Bellinger home run earlier in this series. And just to get back to Bellinger for a minute, what he's done against left-handed pitching in this series is nothing short of amazing. 5 for 7 with 3 homers against left-handed pitching. I mean, that used to be part of his kryptonite.
Well, even just over the course of the season, I mean, his slash numbers lefties to righties is almost even. He's had 9 home runs this season off the lefties. That was the 10th.
Muncy into center field. Taylor's being held at third. Muncy taking advantage of that and advancing to second on the throw home.
Good baseball all around here for the Dodgers. Not so good for the Cubs. The changeup right here, bullet right back up the middle. Too good of a pitch with 2 strikes. And then great base running from Muncy right out of the box. Thinking too, capitalizing on the throwing mistake by Almora.
Joe Madden making a very slow walk to the mound. Jose Quintana is one of those starters that comes under an extra bit of scrutiny when he faces a lineup the third time through. Unable to pass 5 innings tonight. A pitching change, and we'll be right back. time for tonight's Corona Premier Moment, and we saw it to lead off the 6th inning. Cody Bellinger's 23rd of the year and one of his longest of the season. A Father's Day gift with mom and dad in the crowd tonight. So the Cubs go to the bullpen here with runners at second and third and a run in to tie it. Nobody out in the 6th. Those are runners that Jose Quintana is responsible for. Well, this really changes the equation for Dave Roberts, as all that left-handed pop that started the game on the bench is now available and in play. Russell Martin takes a strike. As proof as to how Joe Maddon felt about the wall that Jose Quintana seemed to hit, he goes to Brandon Kintzler despite the fact that Russell Martin was 0 for 11 with 5 strikeouts against Quintana. Joe had seen enough of the hard-hit baseballs here in the 6th. He made the move despite that head-to-head matchup.
Well, and I think it was how Quintana was getting hit. It was first pitch. It was literally when he was ahead in the count. It was where the pitches were located, and even with Martin's struggles, Quintana was putting it on a tee this inning.
The Cubs do have 3 left-handers in their bullpen. We saw one of them up a moment ago, Tim Collins. They've got Kyle Ryan and Mike Montgomery out there as well. Collins is up with Brad Brock as we speak. And Martin strikes out. Or does he foul it into the dirt? Yeah. He's being called back by DJ Rayburn, the home plate umpire.
And DJ was all over it. Slider down. He must have heard something because he had a lot of conviction when he called it, and he called it right away, to his credit.
I don't think he got it. And the reason I don't think so is because Martin, I mean, not only is he looking, but he immediately keeps running.
The reason why you know he got it, no argument from the catcher, Wilson Contreras. Only 3 people in the stadium know whether he fouled that ball off. It's not us 3.
Didn't that look like it was a miss?
It sure did, but trust me, Contreras, as emotional as he is and how much of a gamer he is, if he didn't hear anything, he would have screamed. No reaction.
Wow. Let's see if Martin can cash in on the second chance. Nobody out in the inning. 2-2.
Now, Matty, one thing here, the Almora overthrow of the cutoff man puts Monty at second base. It should be first and third right now. The double play should be in order. But those are the little subtle mistakes that will bite you in the long run, especially when you're trying to win a championship.
Kintzler's 2-2, and Martin does indeed strike out, and this time with no tip.
That's a dirty changeup, and look at the swing by Martin, almost defensive, like he saw something very different, and then last second watch him just kind of change to protect, recognizing he's got 2 strikes. But that changeup not only pulled the string, but had crazy sink and fade on it.
And Max Muncy should be at first base right now, setting up for the double play.
You mentioned Muncy advancing on the throw home. That's part of the reason why Dave Roberts loves him so much. Dave told us before the game that Max Muncy is like his favorite baseball character here because he can do anything for him. The manager's going to pinch hit here as Alex Verdugo grabs the bat. That's one of the big left-handed bats that did not have a chance to start because of the assignment. Jose Quintana. I'll show you the average arm strength of Bryant, Almora, and Hayward.
Hey guys, that was an unusual pinch hitting decision. How late it came. Garlick was actually in the batter's box. And now they've decided to intentionally walk him.
Yeah, Buster, I was going to say that interesting to pinch hit here because you're forcing Ryu to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know we were kind of thinking about this during the pitching change, that if the Dodgers were able to score one of those runs before Ryu's plate appearance, it's a no-brainer that he stays in the game and hits in his turn. But here, it's a decision to make. And they obviously want more out of Ryu on the mound, so he'll hit for himself.
You know, I'm not sure that Joe Maddon walked. I think he only walked because Verdugo came in the game. Interesting.
Bases loaded for the pitcher, Ryu. A chance to deliver the lead for himself. You got a comp for that swing?
Yeah, I do. I think is how about Charles Barkley golf swing?
that's not bad.
Charles Barkley.
Chucky.
That's a good one.
If you're a Dodger fan, you'd rather have a strikeout than a ground out.
Ball and 2 strikes to Ryu. And, you know, thinking ahead and knowing how Dave Roberts likes to use his bench, one of his big bats has been burned, and that was Verdugo when he was intentionally walked. He's still got Jock Peterson available.
Well, Verdugo might stay in, which will help. Stay in and play left field. There's still Matt Beatty also.
And now you have Peterson on deck. So Kiki Hernandez night might be over.
Yep. And Ryu does strike out. So a couple of big punch outs for the reliever Brandon Kintzler, and now he'll have to fade one more big left-handed bat. The second to pinch hit in the inning, it's Jock Peterson. The splits are impossible to ignore. Peterson really struggles against left-handed pitching. Joe Maddon, mindful of that, is going to make a change here. He's had Tim Collins up, and that's going to be his choice in a bases-loaded 2-out spot. Second change of the inning. We'll be right back. Play Ball is Major League Baseball's initiative to inspire all forms of baseball and softball participation, making play opportunities available and fun for everyone. To find a youth organization near you, go to playball.org. Boy, a really interesting set of decisions made on both sides here. We'll start with Tim Collins, the new pitcher for Chicago.
Well, he's just had the 6 appearances so far this year, coming up from AAA Iowa. Of course, a lefty specialist. His opposing batting average against lefties in AAA .050, and that's why he's in against Jock Peterson. You look at the splits that Jock has against any lefty, very different. The no home runs is what you really circle.
2 interesting moves.
It all worked for Chicago. Wow. Second and third with nobody out, and the Dodgers are unable to score after the Bellinger homer. ESPN's telecast of Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Taco Bell and brought to you by the Lexus ES, a product of Mastery. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer. And Corona Premier, lower carbs, lower calories, higher expectations. Enjoy the view. On Father's Day, folks enjoying the view here at Dodger Stadium as we have a little pre-inning conference with pitching coach Rick Honeycutt and Hyun-Jin Ryu's translator. Some changes to post for you. The Dodger bullpen is quiet. We can post the changes before we talk about the nature of the conversation. Jock Peterson stays in the game in left field. And Alex Verdugo does the same, taking over in center. The pinch hitter is going to be Carlos Gonzalez. And maybe it was a quick scouting report update on a guy that Ryu probably didn't expect to face in this game today. He's got pretty good numbers against him, despite the fact that Cargo in general has struggled against left-handed pitching this year. So it's Gonzalez, Russell, and Baez here in the 7th. I think we got to go back to the decisions made in that previous half inning, Alex, and how that all worked out for the Cubs.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, I didn't understand the move for hitting for Kyle Garlick because perhaps Joe Madden pitches to him, so you get a better matchup there. And then on the other side, I think I prefer having Kiki versus Kinsler because Peterson going into that at bat, lefty and lefty. Overall, not just lefty and lefty, 0 for 26, 0 for 27 with that ground ball against righties and left-handed pitching.
Wow.
Ice cold.
And now some of your flexibility is gone. I mean, that kind of all played into the Cubs' hands. And here's Addison Russell now with one away.
And if they walk Garlick, then you still have a full loaded, bench ready to go. You still have the same at bat with Rio, and then you have more options.
First pitch to Russell in foul territory and out of play for Freed.
It almost felt like it was a pregame plan. As soon as the Cubs go to the bullpen, we know that Verdugo is going to come. Verdugo is going to come off the bench, go in and replace in the outfield. Jock Peterson, we have this. So as soon as we see a right-handed pitcher, these guys were going to come in off the bench, especially when there was an opportunity. And you kind of almost felt that.
Yeah, sometimes too many options is not such a good thing. I mean, Garlick has been swinging the bat well in AAA. Had a nice double here today, seeing the ball well, made a nice play out in the outfield. That momentum and that rhythm, you just want to carry that on. It would have been interesting to see if Joe Maddon walks him. I don't think he does, but that's maybe a good question for postgame.
Falling 2 strikes, the count to Addison Russell.
Emily, please.
I believe the ball girl's name is Emily.
We've said it so many times.
And it sounds like we have a mic right there in front of Emily.
One of the ball girls made an awesome grab in last night's game. Jumped up for a line drive. Sat back down, no biggie.
102 miles per hour on that foul ball she caught last night.
It was sweet. She jumped like 2 feet off the ground to grab it, then flipped it to a fan like I'm a big leaguer. Do this all the time.
2 balls and 2 strikes to count to Addison Russell. Was second and third after the homer, nobody out. I know it's the bottom of the order for LA and it made for some decisions, but boy, that really got wonky for the Dodgers.
Yeah,
you got to score there.
And the 2 guys they pinch hit for Garlick and Kike, both double and a base hit. So both having good games. And also you always want to gain in-game action with the momentum. You have sweat going, you're in it, you're used to the shadows. And you just want to keep that momentum going. Sometimes, Jessica, to your point, you have a predetermined move that you're going to make, hours before the game, and you have to execute it when perhaps it may not be the right move.
First 3-ball count for Ryu. And he's able to strike out Russell and make him look like he was playing a different sport.
And the last strikeout on the changeup. And really, he's got 5 pitches, but tonight it has been the changeup. And this is a guy that's going to light up the strike zone, but because of that, he's going to get a lot of chases out of the zone. The changeup tonight, that arm side fade, the run that he's gotten on it. And guys, he's the 6th highest in all of baseball for chases out of the zone. A guy who throws a ton of strikes. So you're thinking, as a hitter, this has got to be a strike. He throws so many strikes, and that's where the changeup has come in huge. Just that late fade to get a lot of swings and misses.
Yeah, Jen, to your point, strikes induce a lot of swings, and everything that comes out of his hand looks like a strike. They're not all strikes, and as a result, we've seen a lot of chases tonight again.
6 of the 7 strikeouts for Ryu have come between the bottom of the order hitters. Hayward twice, Quintana once, and Russell 3 times tonight. So 7 strikeouts and 2 thrown bats if you're keeping a complete scorecard on the damage Ryu has done tonight. Got Baez waving and missing.
He just tripled up on the changeup. First, only 3 pitches, and I get it's Javier Baez. He's a guy that's going to chase. That, I mean, he's seen dead red. He'll come out swinging. But 17 swing and misses tonight, and right now, again, he throws 5 pitches. He just went with 1 pitch 3 consecutive times.
Is that 4 straight changeups?
That's 4 straight.
No wonder Baez is talking to himself in the box. Like, are you kidding?
Okay, well, all right. Play the changeup game.
I mean, for a guy that swings at 50% of the pitches he sees, and you've got count leverage, why would you bother throwing him anything other than a changeup on the outside corner, something he's going to fish at?
And if you're talking to yourself as a pitcher right now, you're saying if he can reach it, it's a bad pitch. Make him go fishing.
2-2.
But that's what Austin Barnes told me yesterday. He said that when Ryu misses, they're really good misses like that one. Show the fastball inside, but Baez isn't going to get to that pitch, and it sets up what he's going to do here.
2-2 home.
He wants that changeup, and he shook off Martin. If you saw it there, 2 pitches that he called before that to get back to the changeup.
That was a bad one there. That was a ball right out of his hand. Not a productive pitch. It's a fastball in.
And it straightens him up to ring him up. Eight strikeouts for Hyun-Jin Ryu. He gets the Cubs in order in the 7th to keep it a 2-2 tie. Well, the Cubs were able to hoist the Commissioner's Trophy in 2016, and though the Dodgers have won 6 straight division titles and 2 straight National League pennants, they're trying to get up to the top of that World Series mountain. Yeah, the last 6 years they've been spoiled with postseason baseball around here, but it has not had the perfect ending as a World Series title would bring.
You know, Matty, asked Cody exactly that question. How difficult is it to lose a Game 7 and a Game 5? And he said, it sucks, and we are pissed off. And Jessica, you said it earlier, they're playing with an edge, and they're playing great baseball.
Steve Cishek is the new pitcher for the Chicago Cubs. He gets a strike to Justin Turner despite Justin's protest. Cishek making his 30th appearance of the year here tonight.
He's going to drop down his sinker slider and really has been kind of the go-to for more high leverage spots. Joe Madden out of this pen until Craig Kimbrell arrives in this bullpen. Cishek has really been the most relied on.
Dodgers are showing a pinch hitter on deck, the left-handed hitting rookie Matt Beatty. 1-2 to Turner, whose error in the 6th inning opened the door to the 2-run rally against Hyun-Jin Ryu and gave the Cubs a very short-lived 2-1 lead. 2-2. Turner bounces a ball to shortstop. Great play by Baez with plenty of time to get his man. Javi Baez made that look a lot easier than it should have.
I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. This is Roberto Alomar playing shortstop right here. Incredible range and just the athleticism and the flair and the accuracy with a strong arm, hitting Rizzo right between the numbers. I mean, look at that. Oh.
But the flip that he does that with, I mean, his whole body's rotating out towards the outfield, and he drops down, flips it. Not even a whole lot on it.
Hey guys, we got to see that play because home plate umpire DJ Rayburn handled the situation the last half inning really well.
Yeah, Javier Baez after that strikeout was livid. Could have easily been ejected, Buster. I thought he was going to be ejected.
Baez into that beer league rover position for a left-handed bat, as he so often is. We'll take you back to the way the last half inning ended.
Yeah, and, you know, DJ Rayburn, the 8th-year veteran, I mean, beautiful, masterful job of umpiring right here. These guys don't get enough credit. Great pitch, even better call right on the block, and then the composure to find him, but to keep him in the game. Great job by the umpire.
Shift works perfectly for Chicago, and there are 2 away as Beatty grounds right into it. So now Cody Bellinger.
This is as close of a situation as an intentional, unintentional walk situation for Cishek here facing their best player in Bellinger. He should get absolutely nothing to hit. Keep him in the ballpark.
Cishek starts him with a strike. Homer number 23 came to lead off the 6th and tied the game at 2. "15 homers at home this year. And that ties his own franchise record for homers in a season at Dodger Stadium before the All-Star break.
You know, one thing that Cody told me this morning today was that one of the things that helped him so much, and you'll see here another bomb to left center field, is giving Dave Roberts a lot of credit that I'm playing right field every day. I know which glove I'm going to use. I know which arm angle I'm going to use. It's different from first base to the outfield. And that type of stability, knowing that he's going to play right field every day and hit cleanup, has brought great productivity for him and the Dodgers. Kudos to Dave Roberts.
3 homers in the series, all coming against left-handed pitching. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Cishek. Full count now.
And these are the counts where he's different. He gets 2 strikes. He's fouling off. Doesn't mean he's going to get a hit. Doesn't mean he's going to get a home run. The difference is the chances of him striking out have gone down.
And this is a chase pitch. This should be.
What's that you were saying? A quick inning for Steve Cishek as he gets Turner, Beatty, and Bellinger in order in the 7th. On this Father's Day, join Major League Baseball in the fight against prostate cancer by supporting the Home Run Challenge. Visit MLBcommunity.org to learn more. Got a good one on this Father's Day. A 2-2 game as we head to the top of the 8th inning. Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, and Wilson Contreras in a new pitcher for Los Angeles as right-handed Ross Stripling takes over for Hyun-Jin Ryu.
And for Cubbies, you got to think this is their best offensive chance to win the game here with Bryant and Rizzo.
Dave Roberts told us before the game he likes Stripling as a relief option specifically today because he feels good about him versus right and left-handed threats. And he'll face right, left, right here in the 8th. Well, the boys are looking at the iPads to get the refresher in on Ross Stripling. How about that? That's baseball 2019, America. True. They're not playing Candy Crush. They're learning everything they can about Ross Stripling before they take a bat up against him.
Speaking of iPads, Stripling has not allowed a home run in 2019.
Two and two. Well, the 7th inning, Alex, and you talked about this when we went on the air, that had been one of the few trouble spots for the Dodgers this year. And they were able to fade that tonight because Ryu went 7. So it didn't turn into an issue.
And maybe that was some of the thinking for Dave Roberts. He really wanted to protect the 7th inning. He knew he had maybe a guy or two down in that bullpen. And, correction, he has not given up a home run since April 19th. So he's been pitching, like you said, Matty, very well against righties and lefties.
The 2-2. Got him looking.
And this is his best pitch. And the reason why it reverse splits for him is the curveball. I mean, he's got 5 pitches. He's a starter turned into the bullpen. And where he spots this breaker right off the edge of the plate, gets a good call from behind home plate. You see Bryant kind of just jelly legs him and stops. It's a pitch you can't do a whole lot with.
Dodgers shift to the right side of the infield for Anthony Rizzo, who is a notorious first pitch count jumper. He takes one here for a strike. It was Rizzo's 2-run homer in the top of the 9th inning yesterday that flipped the script and made the Cubs winners.
2-0 fastball. And he hit it a long ways to that bullpen in right field.
Bounce toward the shift, and it still finds a hole into right field. So the 1-out single for Anthony Rizzo is his 2nd of the game. ESPN's telecast of Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. And in part by the new movie Yesterday. Billboard calls it the Feel Fantastic Movie of the Summer, in theaters June 28th. One-out base runner for Stripling to deal with as he goes to work on Wilson Contreras, who, like Rizzo, has 2 hits tonight. To Wilson Contreras.
You know, I always felt when I was out there playing shortstop or third base that when managers would start throwing a lot of pinch hitters at you, they were playing into our hands, doing us a favor. And especially if a guy had a hit or two, because I always wanted to face the guy that was cold versus the guy that was feeling good and was feeling already hitterish.
Well, the Dodgers have gone a lot deeper into their bench core in this one than the Cubs have. In fact, LA's running thin on reserves the way this one's played out. It's Austin Barnes making up a bench of 1 for Dave Roberts at this point.
In a tie game, that's scary. Possibility going to extras.
And even though that Jensen gave up the lead in the 9th and the 2-run homer to Rizzo last night, he is available tonight. And Dave Roberts told us he wants to put him right back out there because Jansen wants to be back out there.
I'd love to get him a save situation in this one tonight. Ball and 2 strikes meanwhile to Contreras.
Matty, you can also expect him if the game is tied in the 9th. He probably pitches the 9th for Roberts and the Dodgers.
Hyun-Jin Ryu went 7 in this one. Contreras into center. Verdugo started in and is still able to recover to put it away. Now that looked a little dicey for a moment.
You know, and Alex, to your point, coming in cold as a hitter, the same thing goes for outfield. One of the hardest things you can do, especially when shadows this time of night. We talk about it so much from behind the plate, but look at this read. He misreads the ball. He actually steps twice in, Matt, then goes to the side. Very athletic, good recovery, able to make the grab, but it's not easy to come in off the bench when you have shadows, half ball in the sun, and in the shadow to be able to read off the bench.
Indeed.
So 2 gone now for David Bote. He drove in the go-ahead run at the time back in the 6th inning, and he takes a strike from Stripling. When the Dodgers bat in their half of the 8th, they'll have the 5, 6, 7 part of their batting order: Taylor, Muncy, and Martin. The last of the regular season meetings between a couple of teams that are used to seeing one another in the fall. 1-1. Cubs heading home back after this one. They'd love to win this one and make for at least a 3-4 road trip. It's not easy sledding anytime a road trip starts in Denver. And that was the case for Chicago, where they lost 2 out of 3. Things just have not gone as well for Joe Maddon on the road. They've lost 12 of their last 17 on the road, despite the win yesterday. It's a ball and 2 strikes on David Bote. Couple of strikeouts for Ross Stripling as he sets the Cubs down without a run in the 8th. Still a 2-2 ball game. take a look at our Geico game track tonight. The Dodgers got the first run on a bases loaded 2-out walk in the first, but as they had Jose Quintana on the ropes, they were unable to further the rally. The Cubs took a 2-1 lead with a 2-run sixth, and then the game tying shot came on Cody Bellinger's 23rd of the year, leading off the bottom of the sixth. This one is firmly in the hands of both bullpens on Father's Day in LA as we welcome you back to the ballpark. Chris Taylor, the first to swing it in the last of the eighth, as Steve Cishek continues for a second inning of relief tonight. Taylor, Muncy, and Martin in the eighth. 2 balls and no strikes. Extending Steve Cishek for more than an inning. Not really anything new or noteworthy for Joe Maddon. It's the 6th time that he's done that this year. 2-1.
Again, he's been the guy for the high leverage parts of the lineup. That's why he came in last inning to face Justin Turner. 2-3-4 in the lineup. Bellinger, who he got the big strikeout against. Knowing this game is tied, he's going to need him for more than one.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
And if the Dodgers score a run this inning, you should have Jansen coming into the game. Should be warming up.
Touchdown. Missed with a fastball. It's a full count now. 3-2. Left-hander Caleb Ferguson is up with the closer Kenley Jansen. Still a full count. 3-2 to Chris Taylor. Steve Cishek finally getting into this series. Had not appeared in any of the first 3 games. A sold-out crowd starting to make a little rally noise here in the last of the 8th.
Only 1 walk for Cishek the last 14 innings.
This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat on its way to Chris Taylor. The next 3-2. Chris Taylor's one of those guys that the later the game goes against the starter, he is very comfortable with being involved in delivering the knockout blow. Since the start of last year, when Chris Taylor faces a guy a 3rd time in the order, and that's not the case, of course, against Cishek. 13 of his 20 extra base hits come from those meetings. And he's aboard to lead things off in the 8th. Cody Bellinger wearing a microphone for us tonight.
Hey, Doc, I got the mic on.
Well, you're the man.
I'm the man. So Wilson. So guys. I right when I'm mic'd. These bacon ranch seeds are pretty good.
We get everything from what a guy sounds like when he homers to an endorsement for sesame seeds at the end of that thing, or sunflower seeds, or whatever it was. Ranch.
Bacon ranch.
Bacon ranch.
Never even heard of.
Max Muncy grounds out. That advances the runner Taylor into scoring position. Bacon ranch.
Those are kettle something.
Yeah.
He told me today he plays more Fortnite than probably any other player in Major League Baseball.
That's something to brag about until the carpal tunnel like kicks in.
Again, another sign about being 23.
Yeah.
Well, here's Russell Martin now. He is perhaps the gladdest of all the Dodgers that Jose Quintana's not around anymore. Struck out against him twice. 3 strikeouts altogether for Russell tonight, and he takes a strike.
You know, this is the byproduct of that 6th inning, Jess, where if Dave Roberts didn't use up all his lefties, this could have been an ideal situation to use some of them.
Martin behind 0-2. Four-time All-Star, just 2 for 21 with runners in scoring position this year, and 0 for 2 tonight. A chance to take the lead with a base hit, a ball and 2 strikes. Taylor led off the inning with a base on balls. Alex Verdugo waits on deck. He pinch hit in the 6th, but really didn't have a chance as he was intentionally walked, and that loaded the bases with 1 gone. And the Cubs were able to get out of any further trouble. A strikeout to Ryu, and then Peterson, the second pinch hitter of the inning, grounded out.
And if you're the Cubs infielder, you should start paying some attention to Taylor at second base, who's starting to get very happy with his body, showing signs that he could steal third base.
The Cubs bullpen is getting hot, by the way, as Steve Cishek has now reached a season-high pitch count at 29. Kyle Ryan, Brad Brock. Martin hanging in there with 2 strikes. So Taylor had a 9-pitch plate appearance that resulted in a walk. This will be the 7th pitch of the at-bat to Russell Martin. Go-ahead run in scoring position with 1 away.
Taylor trying to time Cishek, perhaps trying to steal a bag, get closer.
Alex, you mentioned how you got to pay attention to the runner at second base. For the Cubs, though, it seems like a quandary because Russell Martin seems to be behind everything and like poking the ball the right side.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, what you want to do is you want to get him over to third base, and perhaps you're able to score a run with something else than just a base hit.
You've seen Russell Martin swings. Do you think it's because he's just not seeing the ball in this particular light, or something about Cishek with that slider?
Well, 2 things. Number 1, he has 3 strikeouts. Number 2, anytime you see a guy check swing more than once in an at-bat, he's obviously not seeing the ball well. And these check swings are very uncomfortable. And mentally, when you have 3 strikeouts, you're like halfway in the hole.
The next 2-2. And Martin serves a little tennis lob into left. They're going to try it with Taylor. Throw to the plate. Gets away from Contreras, and the Dodgers have reclaimed the lead.
And my former teammate here, Russell Martin, as tough as they come. Slider, and just another check swing. It's like a half wedge. Just playing a little pepper. And a huge hit for the Canadian, Mr. Russell Martin.
A good throw gets him. But the throw brought Contreras up the line, and by the time he came back to apply the tag, the ball had sailed past.
Yep.
And here comes Joe Madden with the choppy steps, about to make another pitching change. We'll be right back. Great Major League Baseball action coming up tomorrow night. The same Dodgers playing host to the rival Giants at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. Wednesday night baseball, same series, Giants-Dodgers, same start times. Drew Pomerantz and Rich Hill on Wednesday, and then a week from tonight, Jess Buster, Alex, and I are in St. Louis for Albert Pujols' return to the gateway to the West. Angels-Cardinals at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Well, Steve Cishek yielding the base hit to Russell Martin after a long at-bat that breaks a 2-2 tie, and he yields on the mound. A pitching change in favor of left-hander Kyle Ryan. Alex Verdugo, the batter. Again, he pinch hit back in the 6th and was intentionally walked, so his first real opportunity to swing the bat in this game comes here. Wow. Chris Taylor looks like he's in the Y.A. Tittle mold. The bouncer to the right side. Russell gets the hitter for route number 2.
Yeah, we talked about Brian Butterfield with his outstanding third base coach, about Dino Evil right here. Aggressive, outstanding positioning, never hesitating. And the aggressive Pete Rose slide. 2 in 1 inning.
You see that right hand get caught underneath him. You kind of hold your breath for a second after Corey Seager going down this series already. And even though Chris Taylor comes up, it looked like a scraped cheek on the right side. His hand seems to be all right. He's their shortstop.
He looks like a hockey player tonight, man. He is beat up.
Oh, it feels so much better when you're safe, though.
Yeah, when you talk to Chris Taylor, he is a hockey player at heart.
I mean, that is the ultimate compliment, I think. Count is 0-1 to the pinch hitter Austin Barnes, and in tapping Barnes to bat here, Dave Roberts has emptied his bench. Barnes sends a fly ball to left for Bryant. That retires the side, and the Cubs are looking at their last licks. We go to the 9th. 3-2 Los Angeles. Tomorrow night on ESPN Plus, we'll have the first of 3 between the Mets and Braves at SunTrust Park, 7:20 p.m. Eastern Time. For your free trial, you can download the app or go to ESPNplus.com. And coming up next on ESPN After Hour Game Sports Center with Bucci and Anderson, they'll look at Cody Bellinger's incredible season inside the numbers, Anthony Rizzo's fatherly guide to the majors, and a complete U.S. Open breakdown from Pebble Beach, where Gary Woodland survived a late Brooks Koepka charge. Sports Center next, right here on ESPN and the ESPN app. Kenley Jansen on to try to save it. And he incurs a bell ringer for his catcher, Russell Martin.
You can't hurt the Canadian. He's tough. He's like a hockey player. You know, playing with him, he is one of the toughest.
Gosh.
One of the toughest guys.
He had 2 of those last night, too.
He got everything. He got the shoulder, the neck, the face. Albert Almora Jr. is on base again. Man, that's singles in each of his last 3 at-bats. And the tying runs aboard to start the Cubs' night.
You know, Matty, his velocity yesterday was down 89-90. That last pitch, there was 91. He said after the game that it was the issue was mechanics. So he came in early this morning, worked with pitching coach Rick Honeycutt. They spent a lot of time on the video. They think they fixed it. Look for today more of a 92 to 94 mile an hour sinker and a 91 to 92 mile an hour cutter. More sinkers, though, coming up.
It was his request to get out there tonight and pitch less than 24 hours after the blown save yesterday. Here's Jason Hayward. We've talked so much tonight, guys, about Dave Roberts with the ability to use his bench. Joe Maddon still has some big pieces available on his bench, and one of them is standing in the on-deck circle.
And if you're Joe Maddon, you have the bunt, you have the hit and run, you have the steal. Everything's in play right now, especially 1-0. You can see a hit and run, too.
2 balls and no strikes to Jason Hayward.
And the velocity to focus on is 90 miles an hour, sub 90, over 90. Let's see if Honeycutt and him fix that problem he wanted to fix earlier today.
A measure off Almora in the go zone. Past that green line is where he needs to go to guarantee a better chance of a successful bag. See that stolen base success percentage change the farther he gets to the go zone. Three balls and no strikes.
Matty, sometimes it's just feel. He said prior to coming into the game last night, he did not have the feel in the bullpen, and obviously early on right now he still hasn't found it.
His pace between pitches is indicative of that, as are the results. Leadoff single and now a 3-0 count.
And if I'm Joe Maddon here, I'm sending the runner. Jansen slow to the plate. Almora runs well. On the road especially, you want to be aggressive and take the game to them.
In Jansen's career, 65 steals in 70 attempts.
Cubs do not run a lot, as we've discussed. That might have been a spot. Bounced foul, and it's 3-2.
And again, he's about 1/6 there. For me, he should be running 3-1 and 3-2 every time with Jansen. You can't expect for the 2-run homer. You've got to make things happen on the road. Be aggressive, be assertive, be confident. Hayward has to put the ball in play or go to first base. Almora should be running here.
2-strike count. Dodgers load up the right side of the infield. And Jansen loses Hayward on ball 4. We saw Jansen sprint toward the third base side because everybody was on the right side of the infield, just in case Almora got cheeky and tried to think about taking a corner. Here's Schwarber now.
Now, Matty, if you're Dave Roberts, you have to control and manage, the health of Jansen. He's got 8 pitches. He threw last night. He's thrown a lot this series. You have to get somebody up just in case this inning does not go well.
And guys, the other night, one thing to watch in this situation, Kenley Jansen was so bothered by the presence of a runner at second base that he actually intentionally balked the runner to third so he didn't have to worry about that anymore. But in this situation, he's going to have to deal with it.
That's a good point. Sometimes the threat of someone stealing signs is more effective than someone actually stealing them.
The Dodger bullpen has just gotten busy behind Jansen. That's Stripling just getting work in. He's actually not available. He pitched the eighth. So this is Jansen's mess to try to get out of. First and second, nobody out. Last time we saw the Cubs a week ago, Joe Maddon told us that Kyle Schwarber was swinging the bat as well as he's ever seen him swing it. Schwarber homered that night. In fact, one of the 11 homers that Kyle has struck for in his last 30 games. One and one.
And the more attention that Jansen faced Almora at second base, the better advantage for the Cubs. You want him putting 50% of his attention on Almora and not on Schwarber. As you said, Matty, he is red hot. 100% of his focus should be on that batter.
And now Schwarber steps out. But there's been nothing comfortable feeling about the way this inning has begun for Kenley Jansen. Schwarber bounces it to the right side. The Dodgers settle for the one out at first. Looked like Beatty thought about trying to go into second base and then thought better of it.
And I think he made the right decision here. If you're a left-hander like Rizzo, you have the luxury of throwing a bullet. But as a right-handed first baseman, you have to turn around. Made the right decision right there and make sure you get an out, especially at home.
So the second straight pinch hitter of the inning for Chicago will be Victor Caratini. Just last weekend hit a game-winning 3 RBI double as a pinch hitter against the Cardinals. The tying and go-ahead runs aboard with 1 away, 1 gone in the ninth. Same exercise here, Alex, in terms of the outfielders' assignments that we showed for you with the Cubs out there last half inning.
The best arm in center field.
And that surprises me that you got on the corners below major league average. So that's going to be the message that's sent to Almora Jr. Anything hit to left or right field, even somewhat shallow, you have a chance to go.
You know, Roberts has an unconventional decision here. I mean, you can walk Caratini and pitch to the slumping Baez. One pitch can win the game, or you can pitch to him.
What do you do?
Oh boy!
I mean, you're playing with fire. If you walk him loaded to face Baez.
Yeah, look, I mean, if you walk him and Baez hits a grand slam, I'm getting fired, right? But me rolling the dice, I would walk him, and I'm gambling here that Jansen, with one pitch, we can be shaking hands. That's my gamble. But you asked me when he had 2 strikes.
Right. Yeah, I'd ask you that when the at-bat had started. 0-2 the count to Victor Caratini. Skipped it. And I mean really skipped it 55 feet.
I mean, the former Gold Glove here doesn't get any better. Textbook, knees down, glove down, all the way down. Perfect. And then the soft rebound. Perfect.
I tell you, Monsieur Russell Martin is earning his money tonight. The last few innings, he's been really beat up back there.
What's the phrase? He's standing on his head?
Standing on his head. A little hockey culture. They crowd Caratini and the 2-strike pitch. Bounce back to Jansen coming home, where they get the out at the plate.
What you saw there was Almora not having a good jump. What you want to do is you want to have a walking lead and have a lot of momentum, and he was basically standing flat-footed.
This play became a lot closer than it needed to. But he would have had this easily. And you're right, a complete stop to start versus that walking lead that you have to have, especially when you don't have a lot behind you at third base. And because he even made it that close, for sure he would have been safe.
Just, there's no question with Almora's foot speed, with that type of chopper, he should have made it home fairly easily.
Here's Javi Baez, a big swing and a miss. One of the most dangerous RBI men in the game, who, as Alex mentioned earlier, happens to be cold at the moment. 1 for 4 tonight, but in the midst of a 5 for 28 road trip.
Struck him out last night with a fastball up.
Oh, 2.
And expect him to stay right there, Matty. Maybe 2 or 3 more of those, but a little bit higher. Do not mess with danger with Baez.
You know, you could say that there's no need to throw him a strike here, but keep in mind that tying runs at third, and Baez is a notorious bad ball hitter. Pinch runner at first base is Daniel Descalso.
And he should just go here. There will be no throw by Russell Martin. Get to second and third, and a base hit puts your run up. So first pitch, you should just go.
And there he goes. So the tying and go-ahead runs in scoring position now with a 1-2 count.
And another terrific stop by Russell Martin. Now, something to watch here. Yesterday we had that issue with the runner at second base. Jansen thinking they were stealing signs is just another thing to put in Jansen's head.
A ball and 2 strikes to Baez. Into center field. Verdugo's got it, and the Dodgers hold on. A bit of a high wire act at the end of the night. But the end result is that the Dodgers survive a late rally by the Cubs. They hang on to a 3-2 victory and have taken 3 out of 4 from Chicago.
After misreading a ball the first time Verdugo came into this game, he reads this one perfectly. Off the bat, it looked like this might get in. He dives, makes the grab, and pumped up to make the last out of this game.
Dave Roberts used his entire bench in this one to ice down a 3-2 victory. A happy handshake, and Kenley Jansen able to survive a couple of base runners and earn the save tonight. 3-2 Los Angeles, the final score on Father's Day in L.A. Coming up next is Sports Center tomorrow on ESPN, a baseball doubleheader. College World Series, Michigan and Florida State at 7 Eastern, followed by the Giants and Dodgers from here in L.A. at 10 o'clock. Again, the final score tonight. Dodgers beat the Cubs 3-2. For Alex Rodriguez, Jessica Mendoza, and Buster Olney, Matt Vasgersian saying so long from Dodger Stadium. It's time for Sports Center with Bucci and Anderson.
Excellent work by the crew out there in L.A. Good game. Cubs, Dodgers, Sports Center to follow. Here we are after a CPR save by Kenley Jansen. Record set in Denver, John. Charlie breaks a series record, but the Rockies fall short. Well, Cody Bellinger chases the great Bambino. Champion crowned at Pebble Beach. How Gary Woodland kept the defending champ at bay for his first major win. Reaction on the way.